It's not as fun though. Okay, got it. See,
Do I just hit
Alan
Just
continue?
knows
eating.
how to record on Zoom.
I do.
Well, we're just
Yeah.
going to be HBC. Anybody know what that stands for?
Honey bee cakes, honey badger cakes.
Honeybee cakes. That's
All
fine.
right,
The
cool.
only thing that sucks is that I cannot be on Discord
You
because of the
can't.
overlay. Wait, tablet, go back old school, use two devices.
Yeah.
Here you go. Yep.
Yep.
I just happen to have my book bag here. So let me just get
Don't wreck.
my
Don't
hands
wreck.
off the wheels.
What
real
speed are
quick.
you traveling at right now?
75 miles an hour.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I'm not
You
going
survive.
that fast.
I've seen Blindside. You could survive that. You could be your own seatbelt.
Yeah, exactly.
That
I'll be all right
airbag
at
ain't gonna do
75.
shit.
If I had hit 90, it'd be a little bit different, but 75, I'm good.
Chris is getting his second device available, so we can actually be on Discord as well. We're getting there. We're working through technical difficulties. We're gonna do this, guys.
Tell them I love them enough to put my life on the line.
He's driving 75 miles an hour while logging on Discord and getting Zoom going. I can see the lights flashing past him in his car.
I told you we're gonna get to talk to a cop tonight.
We gotta get to talk to a cop.
It's gonna be super interesting when I'm like, bruh, I'm recording. Can you leave me alone for a moment?
So the
Are you a fan
mixed
of Wheel
guy
Time?
telling the cop right off the bat, I'm recording. Yeah, this could go over great.
Yeah.
After he was
Yeah,
driving
all that-
erratically on the highway. Like, sir, turn the camera off. I can't. I'm recording. Get out of the car. Oh!
Can they hear me online?
Can you guys hear Chris?
Can you hear me?
Yep, they can hear you. Yep.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
I do.
All right. Well, let's start over then.
Alan, I sent you.
Yeah,
a picture.
yeah.
I'm gonna start over from the beginning, just because at this point I have to edit. I'll have to splice two different things in, so this is a whole new recording. So,
Yeah, that's easier.
Whole new world.
Whole new
Don't you dare
world.
close your eyes.
all right. So, brief pause. All right. Welcome to season 4, episode 8. Moving right along, the Shadow Rising. But before we get any further into that, let's do some housekeeping. First of all, Patreon. No new patrons. We'd love you guys to give us money, but we love the patrons we already have, and we salute you, support you, or support us.
Yes.
We love you. Thank you guys
We
so
do
much.
love you.
And you can listen to us live and watch Chris drive down the road while recording live, which is an awesome thing. Other things, downloads. We hit 75,000 downloads total. We did a giveaway for that, but also I think we're at 77,000 at this point. But yeah, moving right along. And YouTube update, Twitter of Time. So if you're listening to this not live, this Saturday, we will be on June 26th at 8 p.m. on our YouTube station. We will be doing the Twitter of Time award show with Lauren from Raveling Pattern, Rob from Malkier Talks, Delusions from Feather and Mountain, Rob from Weekly Wheel News, and the Way the Leaf Brothers, the puppets. So along with a lot of other guests, musical acts, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Put it on your calendar. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. So that's the Twitter of Time Awards. Yeah, and then we also have a guest with us tonight. So in addition to Chris joining us live from the interstate and Ian joining us live from a creepy garage, we have DT from Canada. DT, tell us all about yourself and why you're here.
Well, first of all, I'm also in a creepy garage, so that's a good start. Yeah, all about me. What else can I say? I live in the Blight. We like it up here. It's hot as hell right now and humid, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, nothing much going on though. My personal life's been pretty basic, pretty same old. Yeah, just enjoying your show recently. Actually, been cruising through the episodes, getting ready for this. So I've been enjoying catching up to you guys in this book. It's been great.
Awesome. Happy to have you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Good. Awesome. Tell us a little about your server too.
Oh yeah, do that. We have a we have a Discord server called What Trivia and Games, which every now and again, less recently than we should be doing. I'm trying to get back into that. I'm actually working on one right now. But we play Wheel of Time trivia games and also pub trivia games fairly regularly. And every now and again, there's other games. You can also follow some of the other Wheel of Time games, such as the Leaf Brothers do Watchinary every Sunday, and there's a channel in there for that where you can communicate with them as well. So yeah. It's a good time. We do have a game coming up, like I said, this Sunday. This Saturday it will be. By the time this recording goes out, that'll be over, but we'll have more.
Okay.
Basically, you join Discord voice channels and play in teams with friends or strangers. It doesn't matter. And you get all these crazy, really hard Wheel of Time questions often. So this time, I think the next one, sneak peek, we had the Tucker and Riode crew put together 10 questions for this particular game. That's going to be all about the upcoming show. And
Okay.
So they're going to be, those will be some good questions. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Awesome. Yeah. So we if you guys remember, anyone listening to this, you can go back and we actually have when we did the trivia show with you months and months.
Yes.
I guess it was a year ago, I guess maybe.
Yeah. It was actually about a year ago.
Yeah. And we all did the trivia show together. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
We did awesome, and then we kind of failed the end. Yeah. So it's gonna
We started off strong, and then
I couldn't remember.
And
Did
then
we
got
record
drunk.
that too?
Yeah, it was recorded. Yeah, it's actually one of our. Yeah, I released it. It's actually in our catalog. If you go back and find a bonus episode.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah, that was a good time. Actually, you guys I remember that's when I discovered just how organized you are. I remember asking you, when are you guys going to be, when do you think you might be done book one? I want to do a book one trivia. He's like, June 26th at like 7 p.m.
He invited you into his sheets then, huh?
Yeah.
Get a little sneak peek.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So next thing we usually do is go into personal life. It's been 2 weeks since we recorded, so there's a lot that's happened. And I'm not sure what to pick on. So I'll just start from 2 weeks ago and kind of work through everything that's happened. So most of it's around my kids. We got to go to the Children's Museum in Portsmouth, which was a whole lot of fun because we had reservations, which means it wasn't crowded at all. We had the whole museum to ourselves pretty much, which it's an interactive, fun kids museum. They have like a bubble room, a train room, with like model trains.
One of my
and
favorites.
a big fire engine that you can climb in and act like you're driving the fire truck. And my 3.5-year-old son was just in Candyland, just running around like a madman, loving every minute of it. And we had to pry him out of there to pull him out. But yeah, we love that. And then took the kids to Busch Gardens, a local theme park last weekend. So we had like a whole entire eventful couple of weeks, which was fun. They have a little Sesame Street area where Elmo and Cookie Monster come out. Of course, my kids lose their crap whenever that happens, and get super excited, which is awesome as a dad. It's just, and they have little rides that are fun. They're kiddie rides, but they're still you can ride on them with them. They actually have a roller coaster. It goes pretty fast.
Alan loves the kid rides.
I do.
Don't lie to him. It's not about the kids. It's about you. That roller coaster in Sesame Street Park is fantastic.
It actually is a really good roller coaster.
I love it.
Yeah, it's actually great. And then also a couple weeks ago, Ian and I decided to go out drinking in Norfolk. Ian died 3 times. We rode scooters around. It was a lot
Lots
of fun.
Lots of tequila.
So we rented scooters and just bar hopped on scooters, which, by the way, is an awesome thing to do and totally scary, and probably don't recommend doing that ever. But
if you picture Alan on an electric scooter just zooming down the street and jumping off of curbs and zipping around in traffic, and if that's super funny to you, like so funny, like you're falling over laughing funny, like that's exactly how it is in reality. I almost crashed because it was too funny watching Alan after a bunch of tequila, just like hopping curbs and shoo, flying down the road. And these things are fast. They do like 15 miles an hour, which for a scooter, you're moving.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
It was fun.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
Sounds
he
like a
made friends
blast.
with all in Norfolk. We bought people drinks. Drinks were had.
I bought shots for everybody.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was great.
So yeah, what about you guys? What's going on personal life wise?
My memory isn't good enough to remember 2 weeks, but it doesn't matter because last weekend's the highlight. So as y'all know, started talking to someone. We went on our first date mid-March. And kind of hit it off pretty quick. And even though with our schedules, we see each other maybe once a week, try and talk as much as we can. Early on, we scheduled a trip to Colorado. She had some friends that were out there. They offered an extra room that they had. They're like, come visit. So like after the third date, she's like, do you want to go to Colorado and go hiking? And I was like, yes, obviously. This is a great idea. So we booked the tickets, went last weekend. It was amazing. Perfect weather. Stayed in Denver, but hiked near Vail and then somewhere else kind of southwest-ish of Denver. I'm not that smart. I didn't memorize what the hikes were. Went to this cool waterfall, everything. I mean, just everything about the trip was amazing. And her and I hit it off really well. You know, spending that kind of time where you're next to with that person 100% of the time. I mean, that's different from, you know, let's go do dinner and spend a couple hours together and then go our different ways. But I thought it was hilarious. So we flied Frontier on the way there. She was like, I'm going to go ahead and pay the extra so we can pick our seats and be next to each other because you're not guaranteed seats next to each other. And after she did it, I was like, so we could go ahead and pay to get our seats for the flight back. So we're sitting next to each other. And she goes, we'll see how the weekend goes. which is awesome. But we did sit next to each other on the flight home. So that was good. And then, so that's all the lovey-dovey, awesome romantic stuff. The best part was there was one hike we did that was only about 2 miles up, but it was like straight up. It kind of felt like Spy Rock Island. It just keeps going up. And at the top, there's a waterfall. Well, we get a half mile up and there's one little flat part where there's a sign where everybody stops and takes pictures. And as we're taking the pictures and the group photo, and we're like, oh, this is awesome. I got bubble gut like you wouldn't believe. Like, have you ever been totally fine? Then all of a sudden your stomach goes, and I'm like, so I assessed the situation and I've gone off a trail and dug a hole and taken care of business plenty of times, but this is a short hike on a beautiful day just outside of Colorado. So how many people do you think are on this trail?
Everybody.
So I'm like, all right, we're not zigzagging off the trail to, dig a hole and go. So I turned to, Meredith, who we've only been talking for a little while. This is our first real trip together, and her two friends that I've just met. And I'm like, well, guys, I'm going to turn around and run back down to that porta potty at the beginning of the trail, and I'll catch up with you all later. And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, nope, just a little bubble gut. We got to go take care of this. And they're like, oh, we'll just come back down with you. I'm like, and do what? Stand outside and cheer for me? Like, that would make it worse. Like, come on, you could do it, buddy. It's like, so like fairly embarrassing, but I recovered because I made it down, took care of business, got some water, assessed, made sure I was good. It was a one-time deal. And then raced back up there, pretty much ran it and caught them before they even made it to the top. So,
oh yeah,
it was a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And Chris, I know you have a lot going on.
Yeah, guys, life is a bitch. Like,
it can be.
You roboted.
No, keep that
right,
recording. That is perfect. Like that explains everything,
Yeah,
Chris.
that was
just
That
was it.
That does it.
Life is such a
so I'm recording from the road, and again, life has been quite the bitch, for lack of better words. My grandmother has broken her femur. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So grandma's broken her femur. So she's been in the hospital and gotten out of the hospital after a week there, and she's going to spend 6 weeks in rehabilitation centers. And I almost killed my uncle because he was so drunk that my grandmother had to call out to Alexa to call me the day she broke her femur. When I say I almost killed my uncle, like, I threw him to the ground. I punched 3 holes in the wall and assaulted a police officer. So there was that. Luckily, he was very understanding.
This is a Newport News police officer?
He was, but we were in York County, so I was.
Oh, that's why he didn't want to do
worried.
that jurisdiction paperwork.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's really all it came down to. Well, he'd been through a similar situation. He's like, yeah, I get it, dude. I'm the caretaker of the family. He's like, just don't kill your uncle. I really don't want to come out here for that. He's like, we've been out here enough for his drunkenness. Like, it's bad when Newport News has to come for a call in York County multiple times. But anyway, like, long story short, like, I had made up my mind that Charlotte is my new place. My car is completely full to the brim. I'm driving now, put in my letter of resignation of Newport News Schools. They, shoved one up my backside and told me I had to pay for the entire program. They're not prorating anything. And they told me they're taking my last 2 paychecks. So kind of screwed all around there. So I'm going to find me a part-time job when I get to Charlotte. Until the school system until school year starts up, because I did land a job there, which is awesome. So, I think maybe this is like the tail end of the wildest part of the ride. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I pretty much disowned the majority of my family and cussed everybody slam out, and they now know, that there's a way to anger the bear, and it happened, and they got earfuls and eyefuls and streams of text messages that were miles long at 3:30 a.m. because I got tired of thinking and just like, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
So I kind of was leaving the pessimism behind a little bit, and then all this started to happen. I'm like, you know what, last summer's attitude was perfect. I got shit done. I told people what it was. I need to go back to that. So my tone is about to change all over again.
Yeah.
And I'm here because I am dedicated. I am motivated, and the book is awesome. And it is my one escape from this world. So
Well, we're happy you're here. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Chris, you and I have talked a couple times about some of the curveballs life can throw at you. And I know you're a very resilient dude and super smart. And you got at least 2. I won't speak for DT. He can speak for himself. But you got at least 2 other dudes here that love you. And you ever need anything, man, you just say the word. I think you got this. So that's 3. That's
Yeah.
out of 3.
There you go.
Mhm.
So you got this, man.
Yeah.
Life is crazy sometimes, but
and I have to go back. Like, faith has been something that I have gone back and forth with quite a lot. I do have a strong belief, but I have it's a weird soul, because there are moments where I'm super optimistic and the moments where I'm super pessimistic. I don't know anything more than extremes. I'm trying to find balance in life. So there are some things that I'm just praying on and letting it go. And just glad that I have not burned any important bridges and that I have opportunity elsewhere. I'm just keeping moving.
All right.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, TT, you don't have to
Yep.
share personal life if you don't want to, but it's up to you.
Yeah, sure. My personal life's been, well, in stark contrast, things have been pretty good. I had a good week at work, and had one of those customers that was fun to work for. I install kitchen cabinets for a living and do that, subcontract that to different companies, and had one of those customers that was great to work for and went smooth, and they tipped me with beer after. So cheers to them. Came home and really quickly discovered I needed that beer as my son, as some of you know, has autism. So he's very routine focused, and he has a after school program on Mondays and Tuesdays, and they feed him dinner there. So I didn't make him dinner when he was on the way home, but we were having sausages. And when he got home, he equated that to being hot dogs. And I didn't have 3 hot dogs for him ready. I only had 1 on the grill for someone else. So I thought maybe I'd give him that one. And no, it had to be 3. And that turned into a full scale assault, massive blowout. So beer 1, beer 2, beer 3 later. I don't always certainly drive into alcohol when I get frustrated, almost never, but I knew I was coming on here tonight. So I thought I may as well get an early start.
yeah.
There you go.
Blow right into it. And I actually have tomorrow off. So a late night talking about Wheel of Time to me sounds perfect. It couldn't have worked out better. So
Awesome.
yeah, other than that, yeah, just getting ready for summer. Going to the
Sure.
cottage in a couple weeks and prepping food for that is the thing I like to do ahead of time. As many sides and salads as I can, all prepped at home and frozen and stuff. So I have to do minimal work, but have
Yeah.
incredible food for a couple weeks and
Yes.
enjoy the shit out of life. That's the plan anyway. Still a couple weeks away, so I got prep time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of a couple
Awesome.
weeks away, we're going on vacation in a few weeks. I think we're not sure 100% yet. It just got dropped to me yesterday. My wife came home and she was like, so our friends have a beach cottage down in Myrtle Beach and we have a free place to stay for an entire week in July. And my first question was like, do they have a designated room for me to record a podcast on Tuesday? Because otherwise I'm not interested. And they're like, and she's like, I'll ask. And she's like, yeah, they have free Wi-Fi and everything. I was like, okay, sweet. We can go then. Like,
Yeah.
keep my priorities. Like
Fair
no family
enough.
vacation unless I can record. All right.
Yeah, there's a spreadsheet on the line here. We need to stick to
I need to
it.
stick
Yeah.
to this.
He's not creating a new tab, and he's already maxed
Yeah,
out. So this is
exactly.
it.
Yeah. This is it. This is what's happening. So let's go into some predictions. These are from 2 weeks ago, so some of them have already come true because there's some personal predictions in here, but we'll still go through them real fast. So one, Matt will go into the doorway. That was a prediction. We might find that out this episode.
We all knew that.
Yeah. The collar thing that they saw that had the two bracelets was for male channelers. Ian said that. That was in Tanchico. And then Egwene is going to level up, whatever that means when she goes to the waist, if she goes there. And the last prediction, this was one that was written 2 weeks ago, was that Ian's mom is going to get a red rod in the mail. And I don't.
Darn you, Alan. Darn you to heck. You know, this is not the first time my mom has called me cursing at me because of something Alan did. In fact, this is probably the 12th time that I got an earful, and I'm like, Mom, but Alan, just let me talk. Alan did. Look at where it came from. I did, Okay, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. I'll come cut your grass. My bad.
Did
So-
she get one?
Yeah.
I've been avoiding going to the house to go see her because I know she's gonna throw it at me, and I don't want to get hit by a red dildo. So
Oh my God.
Yes, I totally sent mom, Ian's mom, a red rod Terangriel from Nameless's thegreatblight.com.
Oh, wow.
I'll say this:
yeah.
if y'all don't have an Alan in your life, you need one. No more than one. Don't have two. That would be way out. But one, you need one. And they keep you on your toes. It's pretty funny.
It was pretty good.
Oh,
So,
that's priceless.
Yeah.
Alan,
End of the
what do you
episode.
Alan, what do you think will happen if I send one to your mom? How do you think that'd go over?
Ooh.
I dare you.
No, I would not. Nope. No, never. Nope. In fact, don't include that in the recording. I don't even want the joke about it to be anywhere out in public. Everybody forget that.
Never happened. Never happened.
So let's move right into chapter 13. So rumors. Our chapter symbol is the dice. So Matt chapter, at least that's what usually it means. Our setting is back in the standard tier, or at least in tier, because I think we start in one of the taverns. Because Matt left the stone. He's going down the taverns to drink and dice down in the mall, which is I guess the more seedy area of tier to find some dice games, because he just wants to get away after the Trolloc attack and wants to get far away from the stone as possible. During the Trolloc attack, we also learned that he killed some Greymen. So it wasn't just Rand that had Greymen after him. He did as well. And then shortly after, Emergel actually called him Horn Sounder. So they knew a lot about him. And was about to kill him when a dozen Trollocs suddenly attacked the Fade instead. And he's like, I don't understand why Trollocs attacked the Fade. This doesn't make any sense. And I don't want any part of it. Yeah. I don't want any part of it.
I don't understand why either.
Yeah. So they mentioned
we got a hint to that with Rand, that
Mhm.
there was some infighting there. And then
Yeah.
Rand trying to figure out if not Celine, but what's her actual name? Lanfear. Was she in
Lanfear.
charge of it?
Lanfear.
Lanfear denied it. But so we got a taste of some of that
Mhm.
going on.
We
I've been
did,
wondering what you
but-
guys think about that. I got my floaties ready for this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I did believe that maybe there were factions within the Trolloc that did not want to be controlled by the Myrddraal.
hmm
So then they were rebelling. And then there's part of me that thinks that maybe a result of Rand being, the man, and the Taviran's influence could be spreading to them. And then, my mind just kind of was racing on a couple of different thoughts in that regard. And the other thought, which is a little bit darker with the Matt situation, is that maybe they realized like Matt is one of their masters.
Ooh.
Because I still have the theory that Matt and the dagger equal like more death. So like
Right.
that's never gonna go away.
That he's not 100%
like-
cured. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 books ago or 3 books ago, whatever. I've lost track of time.
Yeah.
But there's still that thought that the dagger is going to come back into play, and these dark powers that he had are going to come back into play. So
you're
there's
talking
that.
about Matt's taint, which is different
Yeah.
from Rand's taint.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay.
He's got the stink tank.
Right. Different kind of taint. Yeah.
Hmm.
So my thoughts a little less sophisticated. I just started thinking, so there was all right, maybe Lanfear's chiming in because she seems supportive of Rand because she doesn't necessarily want him dead. She wants to partner with him and share that power. But that seems too simple and lame. But also a simple thought is, all right, let's look at our air quotes for y'all listening. Good guys. We have our Aes Sedai. But on the good guy side, we have people that are getting, turned to the dark. That we have our Black Asha. We have people that are secretly dark friends, and we're at the dark friend social, and blah 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 blah. So if it works that way, it could also work the other way. Maybe we have a bad dude. Maybe we have a Forsaken that maybe got caught up in the Forsaken business, but wasn't totally sold on the Forsakenness, or maybe there's something about their potential future, like they need Rand to be alive. They want to now work with our group of Taviran, whatever. So there might be at least one Forsaken that is actually actively trying to help Rand, Matt, the girls, Perrin, whatever. And for reasons we don't know yet. Maybe it's somebody we haven't met yet. And if you take it to the next level and then start thinking about what Lanfear was proposing about Rand getting trained by an actual male channeler that has learned to do it without losing their mind, except they became Forsaken. Like, wouldn't it be cool if there is a Forsaken that for whatever reason wants to help them that can actually train Rand? So like maybe there's dots that could connect there. I don't know.
A double agent.
Yeah.
Secret agent man.
I still want to see Rand. I still want to see Rand head out to the waste also and kind of unite the Aiel, and maybe some of his knowledge and how to deal with this come from there. But this is where I first started thinking, all right, maybe Rand actually does partner up with a Forsaken, and maybe we find a Forsaken that isn't actually as evil as we thought. Maybe they're going to help him and be a good dude or dudette.
Yeah.
Or duder is dude's neutral, right? I could just say dude.
Lanfear
like
already
Eversman
mentioned
said.
that, right? Like this is what you're referencing there.
Yeah, but she was like, we could use him and then kill him when we're done.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think maybe there's the potential that there's someone that doesn't have evil things in mind that happens to be Forsaken.
What
Maybe
about the
there's
Shanaran? No, wait, it's the word I'm looking for.
The Shachen.
Shanshin, thank you.
I don't know. They just
Maybe
seem
he
creepy as
goes to
hell
the
me.
Shanshin.
I can't imagine
Like that would be a huge twist. The thing that nobody thinks about happening.
Well, that might be what that male collar is for. That would suck.
Yeah. Maybe he goes to the land of milk and women and gets collared and
Yeah. So to answer your question, DT, we have no fucking clue.
All right.
Is really but
Yeah.
there's crazy thoughts that go through our head.
Right.
At least mine.
That's
have.
good.
Like
Yeah.
Random Chains and liking
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No, those are
Wow.
great thoughts. Awesome thoughts.
Yeah. So as they're sitting in the tavern, or as Matt's sitting there, he also hears some people mention the Two Rivers. And some merchant starts talking about how white cloaks are in the Two Rivers now. They're supposedly hunting the Dragon Reborn there, as well as a dark Frid with yellow eyes. And Matt wants to know more information. Kind of pressures the merchant. He's like, "All right, don't kill me. I know you lordlings sometimes get a little hasty with us merchants and just kill us for no reason." So and he's like, "I'm not going to kill you. Just here's a gold crown, but give us as much information
Penny
as
for your
possible."
thoughts.
And the merchant's like, yeah, but I'll give you like a free like container of the dankest
tobacco.
weed. Like, let me at least give you
He's
some of this
like,
dank shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so I know that we're good. You know.
Yeah, Matt doesn't like to let it. He's always, I'm not a lord, I'm not a lord. But he had no problem pretending to be a lord in that situation because it
Oh
helped
yeah, he
him,
was
right? He's like,
politicking big time.
he liked to
Mhm.
scare them first, and then he throws them the coin. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah. When it comes down to it, he is he's very practical.
he's also
and-
very lordly. What else would a lord do but throw his weight around?
Sure.
Right here,
Yeah.
here's the coin. Like,
But it was
Yeah.
it was a means to an end. Like once he kind of overheard something that was important to him, it didn't matter if he needed a dance in spandex. Like he would have done whatever
yeah.
it took at that point to get the information he needed.
Mhm.
So yeah, he despises the Lord thing and you know, probably never wants to be seen as one. And in other circumstances might have been really offended that somebody assumed that about him. But at this point, he was like, wait, my people, tell me something. And then there's still a dash of selfishness because as he's pulling for more information, what he's really excitedly trying to pull from him is, okay, dragon, sure, yellow eyes, sure, but did they say anybody else? Now he's thinking about himself. He's like,
That's true.
do
Yeah.
they know my name? Like, tell me now. And that's when everybody's freaking out.
Say my
Matt,
name.
think
say
about
my
himself.
name.
Yeah, you know. But again, very, you know, straightforward, practical, looking out for number one.
Mhm.
Sure. And he is worried. He cares
I
about
bet the
his people.
merchants know my
he does.
name. My name.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, after this, he immediately runs back to Perrin to tell Perrin, you know, what he heard. And when he gets back there, Perrin's already packing to leave. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I already know. I'm leaving. I heard.
I
I heard the
got
same
wolf
thing.
ears.
Yeah, I heard, man. I heard."
Yeah.
He's already packing. You know, and
I think it's really interesting. I'm wondering partially if this was like Matt's last attempt to try to be able to leave.
yeah.
And why isn't the pull as strong on Perrin as it is on Matt?
Well, he even says Rand. I think doesn't Rand give Perrin his blessing? Like, so
Well,
like,
Perrin
like,
mentions that he had already talked to Rand.
he talked to Rand about it, and
Yeah.
Rand was like,
So they
"Yeah,
go through that convo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of like the whole Taviran thing. You talk about the pull of Taviran, but I think you're also at the whim of whatever the Taviran wants. So Rand's obviously the stronger Taviran of the three. He's the Dragon Reborn.
Mhm.
So, you know,
But they are still individually Taviran too.
They
So
are
maybe
too.
they have
Yeah.
their own really important.
right.
Yeah. And the way this gossip and rumors going around and the relationship Perrin has had with the White Cloaks, and they're specifically looking for a yellow-eyed dude. Perrin is convinced that the way he's speaking, that he alone is the only one that can fix the Two Rivers problem at this point. He
Mhm.
feels very responsible for it, and
Responsible,
he's
yeah.
convinced that he's the only one that can make a difference. It doesn't matter if, well, I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit. It doesn't matter if Matt comes. Certainly doesn't matter if Fail comes, because his plan isn't to go defeat anybody. It's to go sacrifice himself.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it.
Yeah.
So that's enough, I think, to overcome any kind of strong Taviran responsibility to Rand. And I think he even briefly mentions that to Matt in the conversation. Be like, yeah, you know, I feel the pull too, but like this is important. Like,
So it makes
this
me
is
wonder,
something
is it
I have
Matt's
to do.
self-perseverance that is keeping him there, or is it something more?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see, as though Matt acts very about himself. Whenever someone else is really in trouble, he seems to come through.
Mhm.
So I really do question, and I'll continue to question until we have the answer. why is the pull so much more on Matt than it is on Perrin? I mean, I know Matt did, of course, blow the horn, so he may hold a stronger key in the overall plan of the creator when it comes to how Brand is supposed to go about saving the world or destroying it, whichever one he decides to do.
Yeah.
Hi.
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 Say goodnight.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Say
Next-
until next time.
It's 10 o'clock. Like, and you're how old?
5.
5, and it's 10 o'clock.
Uh,
Such a bad dad. Late bedtime. All right, give me some loves.
It's not
the
late.
summer.
No.
It is. We're on
Yeah.
summertime routine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Go until we're tired and go to sleep and then start over again. Love you, buddy. Go to the bathroom before you go to bed.
He's such a good dad.
He is a
Aw.
good dad,
All
for
right.
sure.
Make sure you get those back teeth when you brush them.
Baby teeth. These are practice teeth.
Yeah,
He'll
exactly.
figure it out.
Yeah. So back to the story. So yeah, Matt talks about going with Perrin, but then he can feel Rand's pull at the same time and realizes he can't go. That he's stuck here, but Perrin obviously is thinking of his family. He's going. And at this point, Matt leaves, goes back out the hallway, and as he's walking the hallway, he sees our good friend Barrelane, and she's just walking down the hallway, and he just kind of casually, addresses her, says hi, pretty much, and she completely ignores him, and he just like about faces and just like turns around, like, "Excuse me, like when I talk to you, you talk back to me. Like I don't know who the fuck you are."
So
I love that scene.
what I thought of here, so y'all know in the Army, I'm in the reserves now. I enlisted straight out of college. I've stayed enlisted. I love that side of the house, and that's fine. But like, obviously the enlisted are supposed to salute the officers, and then officers return the salute. And, there is a certain level of respect there, but the salute isn't something like I owe you one and, you could do whatever you want with it. It is you receive one, you're supposed to give it back. It's a very even level. I don't know how to explain this, other than there have been times in my career where I have rendered a salute and some officer, really doesn't matter the rank, walks by in whatever bad mood, decides not to salute back and just moves on about their business. And I have on multiple occasions started jogging beside, right up in the face, some officer would salute up and be like, "Hello, sir. How are you doing today?" Like, and until they send it back, because, so anyways, that popped into my head.
And
I've
then-
only got in trouble for that one time. The
That-
rest,
That brings me up that story. Back when you were active duty in the Army, and Ian was sick. He actually was sick. But he has to still report to the military base to go to the doctor to prove he's sick. Because the military does, you can't just call out sick. They make you come
They didn't believe
in.
me.
Yeah. So
Alan was my ride.
So I was his ride. So I drive him there. I'm in civilian clothes. At that point I'm clean shaven, but and I'm walking out of the hospital, and it was actually a major in the Army, stops me and like spins me around and is like, "You did not salute me," or something like that. Like as I walked by, and I
What's
was
the
like,
greeting of the day?
I just looked at him and I was like, "Why would I?" He's like, "What rank are you, boy?" And I'm like, "Civilian." I'm not in the military. Leave me alone. Like,
Yeah, that was perfect.
I'm a
Yeah.
taxpayer. I write your paycheck.
Right.
That's exactly what I would say.
You should salute me.
I'm the you want to get paid today.
Yeah, you want to get paid?
Maybe not go that far.
I'm a civilian. Like I don't have to do anything to you. Like, he assumed I was, just some, military guy. And
what
since I
did
was
he
so
say
young,
then?
he just grumbled. He was obviously having a bad day.
You
He was
could
trying
tell
to
it was
he was,
shit day.
he was trying to dress down somebody and picked the wrong guy because I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
not me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I am not going to
So-
salute you. I'm not in the military.
Let me get serial though about the scene, what's going on here. Chris, you were talking about the pool like that is strong with Matt, and I do believe that, but the vibe I'm getting from the Matt perspective is he does feel pulled. He feels like he should be doing something, but he doesn't know what. And he also knows that like he's not just Rand's lackey. He's not Rand's number 2. He's not Perrin's number 2. He's not just there to assist somebody else. Like he's starting to get that angst, that feel that no, there's something significant that I'm supposed to be doing, that I'm capable of. I mean, dude, we saw in that little blip there, he whacked some gray men during all this shit going on, and he's done plenty on his own. Like there's a lot of potential here, and I think he feels it, but he just doesn't know where it's supposed to be directed. He doesn't know where he's supposed to be going, what his mission is. He just knows it's not, as somebody's assistant. So as he's contemplating this and thinking it, he runs across this lady. Yeah, she's someone important, but in his mind, he's thinking his mission's maybe as important as Rand's or Perrin's or whatever. And he says hello, and he just gets snuffed, and he's like, "Fuck that shit." No. I said hi, say hi back. If I'm being polite, you be polite back. All right. In fact, I don't even care if you respond with "go F yourself," but respond to me. Right. So it's part of that. He's struggling to find what his place is. He knows I think he feels it's something important. That's the vibe I'm getting. He just doesn't know what yet. So it's like the beginning of Matt carving out his own story right here. Like, you will respect my authority.
And I love her response to it. She turns around, just looks him up and down, and is like, "Yeah, too much like me."
Yeah. Yeah. She stops, and you think he's made an impact, but not at all. She's yeah, I don't care about you at all.
Is that so? From her perspective, though, is that her complimenting him? Or is that giving him shit? I mean, too much like me.
That's her saying, like, I
what's
can't
she
mess
after?
with a guy like you.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, a
Because
manipulator
she
should
won't
not
be
be
able
with a manipulator.
She won't be able to control him.
She can't control him, so not worth her time.
That's what it's all about.
That's scary that you and I both kind of
Oh no!
came to that conclusion real quick.
We've been in that relationship already.
Once they realize they can't manipulate you, they get downright ugly. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm tired of this bullshit. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Where's my control? It's gone. I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah.
You cut the puppet strings, and they get pissed off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what that was.
And Matt then inwardly compares her to Elaine, with the haughtiness of her, and then instead starts thinking about the plump cook's helper named Dara. He's like, I'll just go visit some of the cooks.
Maybe I'll go say hey to her.
Go say hey to her. She likes
hey, real quick. Like when you read, so we haven't seen it on screen, obviously. You get a mental picture almost immediately when you're introduced to a character, and usually it sticks. Sometimes it changes, but usually it sticks. When we met Bearlane with your brother briefly for the first time, Alan, and subsequently since then, you know who my Bearlane is in my head? The wife of what's his name in 300?
That's a great pick.
That's 100%. Leonidas?
Leonidas, so his wife.
So his wife, the queen,
queen?
That. Yes. That is 100% to the T in my mind. Who plays Bearlane? And so far, it's a perfect fit for me.
Yeah.
I read these a long time ago for the first time, and my Bearlane has always been like a young Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Okay, I'll take that too.
I like that version too. I think mine's still gonna stick.
Well,
like
sure.
Version.
Yeah. So, and then we end this chapter with him flipping a coin. Picks out a Tarvalin mark and to make his decision for him, and it lands. And he doesn't like the result. And
he's like, "You can take that coin."
Yeah.
To a servant person that was out there chilling.
Mm-hmm.
He made
just
that
throwing coins around willy nilly. What?
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly.
Like he's in Norfolk riding scooters, buying shots for all the waitresses and random college kids that are hanging out.
Yeah.
You get a shot.
Who does
you
that?
get a coin.
I totally went Oprah on that shit. You get a shot. You get a shot. Everybody gets a shot.
And actually, they just said in chat who that actress is. That actress, it was Lena Headley, who played Cersei in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's funny.
I don't make the too well now.
but different hair color, so totally
hair
different
color,
woman.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah,
different
as soon
woman.
as you go to Cersei, I don't see it anymore. But
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, exactly. I don't picture her as a blonde at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely the dark brunette. Very
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
well. Let me not get myself in trouble describing what I see.
Yeah.
Smoking.
I like Barely, and I like the storyline of her and the whole concept of Maine and how she's always under threat of Tyr. Like, it was a really well written kind of political struggle that didn't have to be there, but he kind of wrote it in there, and it works. And
Mhm. Yeah.
And let me say, so we talked about the manipulating thing, and I don't want to sound too critical of that because she's a small, almost city state
Mhm.
that has to maintain some sort of power, and she clearly isn't going to do it with an army saying we can conquer you. So there has to be some sort of wheeling and dealing. Whoever's going to lead that has to be able to manipulate. I mean,
Yeah.
so she's playing the part, you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Still
You know,
shady though.
in the
nice
oil
thighs
shingles.
save lives.
And so, with that being in the chapter, anything we missed or anything else from this chapter you guys had that you want to talk about?
No, that was
No, was that
pretty
the
much-
end of the chapter?
Yeah.
There was not a lot in there,
Yeah. It's a very short chapter.
Yeah.
but it was
Matt-
important.
Flashback to Matt's battle where he fought a gray man, Trollocs fighting each other. Matt hears the rumor about what's going on in Two Rivers, but they're not looking for him. Demands respect from Bear Lane. Like that.
That's
Yeah.
that's the chapter.
Let me summarize the chapter.
Yep, and we found
Nailed
the
it.
rumor. Yeah, the rumor is the big key right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
the rumor.
moving into the
That's
next chapter, that's
Yeah.
plays a big factor.
So before we do that, I'm not going to take a break because I know Chris is driving, but I do need to grab a bottle of wine. So I will take 5 seconds just to run to the room and run back.
Oh no, we can take a
Oh,
quick break if you want.
Alan's on bottle number 2
I'm a
already.
refill.
Yeah.
I just need to pour from the same bottle. It's just I left the bottle in the other room because my wife came down and wanted a drink. So,
I'm gonna top mine off too, but it's right here. I'll be quick.
yeah, we'll be fast. So not
No,
a real
you're
break.
fine.
Not a real break.
I'm in the car for 2
Fake
more
break,
hours. So.
practice
Yep.
break, just a
Practice break. Yep, real fast.
I'm at this Wendy's. It is packed.
Yeah, we get Chris going through the drive-through again.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is not the first time, is it?
No.
Oh man.
How's the drive so far? You're
Oh,
going
it's smooth sailing.
Smooth
Yeah,
sailing?
only 3 cops the whole time.
How far is the drive from where you are to Charlotte? From where
5
you were.
hours. For
What?
5 hours. Yeah, it's not bad.
And when how far along are you? Oh,
I have an hour and 20 minutes to go.
oh, nice. We should be mid chapter 15 by the time you get there. You'll have to park. Just-
Yep, and just
finish
chill
it.
out in the parking lot.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's not too bad. 5-hour drives are doable. They're not too bad. So
Yeah.
All right, let me just top this wine off, and then I'm good to go. All right. All right, so let's move right on. Everybody ready?
I'm ready. Born ready.
Mhm.
Ready. All right. So moving on to chapter 14, Customs of Man. And we're in Perrin's point of view because we have the chapter symbol of a wolf. And yeah. We start right out with Perrin in his room. He's just said goodbye to Matt and he's packing his stuff to go to the Two Rivers. And
Hold on, before we keep going, should we start a new one or are we still good on this recording?
no, with Zoom, we're good. That's
Okay,
it's
cool.
easier just to keep going.
Gotcha.
So Perrin's in his room. He's just said goodbye to Matt. He's packing his bags, go to Two Rivers. He's planning on meeting with Loyal in the morning. And Barrelane just busts into the room uninvited. So
She's like, take me.
take me now.
She's like, you're not so much like me.
So minor point of frustration. We have occasionally mentioned Loyal, but we actually haven't had Loyal yet in this book, have we?
I don't think so.
No, he's been
Yeah.
mentioned a couple times, but we haven't actually had Loyal, and I miss Loyal. Like, and it should be more than like when he comes up here, he's like, I don't know what Loyal's been doing. I'm assuming, I don't know, reading a book or like writing something. I don't know, but we haven't heard anything about him. And where's he been during this fighting? Did he just sit in his room? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
He's
Do
reading
we
a
get a
book.
loyal chapter? TT, are we getting one soon? A loyal chapter?
Does it get mentioned in this chapter what he was doing? Or is that in the?
It's just
No.
Perrin was
I guess it
guessing
doesn't-
at it, but
Yeah.
it didn't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I try to pull
Sure.
a spoiler from you. That was close. I almost got one.
Close.
Yeah, we were there. We were close.
I
That's
tried.
why it's really
Good
quiet.
try. Good effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
So-
hope a loyal chapter is coming, or
Yeah.
some good storyline with him.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, somebody's
Well,
gonna have to ask him some questions.
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe
Well-
maybe an episode or two. We'll see.
Maybe. What happens though? Yeah, that's what let's see what it's clear what parents' plans are here. That's what we
Yeah.
discover. So
Mhm.
lead us
Yeah.
in, Alan.
Yeah. So parents, since parents friends with Rand, Barrowlane, ask him to relay the news, that she will leave the next day, to go back to Mayan.
All that effort to get a message delivered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds like an excuse to me. Yeah, I'm here to send a message for me. Sure.
Yeah, and parents like no. Which I love. It's like,
So
I
if
know,
you deny
right?
me, you're so sexy.
You won't send it? No. Haven't you been listening?
Have y'all ever been in a position where, for whatever reason, the type of girl that always seems to get her way because she's attractive, and I mean, usually that's it, but for whatever reason, always gets her way and she propositions you in some way, and you're just like, nah. Like, have you
Sure.
ever seen that reaction off of that type of female? Like, they just can't believe it. Just total shock.
Sure.
And, like,
They're used
in
to
my
holding the
married
cards.
years, in my married years, I'd still go out with friends from time to time, and I've been approached by some, like, they throw their game, and I'm just like, no, not interested. And they're like, oh, blah, 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 let me try some more moves or whatever they do, pole dancing and just crazy stuff. And I'm like, no, not interested. I'm just going to drink my beer and hang out with the guys. I don't want
Yeah.
and just total shock. Like, how could you not be totally overcome by my seducing powers?
when I was young and naive, I got a funny
Sure.
story about this. So when I was young and naive, I was
Young and naive?
Young and
naive.
naive.
Interesting.
This was in my early 20s. I was married at the time, and I went to Philadelphia for training, and I took a bus to Atlantic City for a night to go gambling down Atlantic City, and I was drinking all night long in the casino, walking back to the bus terminal to go back to Philly, and two pretty attractive girls like walked up to me, approached me on the street. They're like, "Hey, how you doing tonight?" And I was like, doing just fine. And they're like, "So where's the party at tonight?" And I was like, "I don't know. You tell me. I'm staying in Philadelphia. Like, what's going on?" She's like, "Well, do you want to party?" I was like, "I mean, I like to party. I mean, like, is there a place to drink?"
Parties are fun.
Like, parties are fun. It's like, "Do you want to come? Like, where's your hotel room?" I was like, "In Philadelphia." She's like, "Oh, well, do you want to get one here and we can party together?" I was like, "Oh, that's what you're asking." No.
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 Hell no.
No.
Shit no, man.
No. It was just one of
I
those
do believe
awkward
you get your
moments,
ass kicked for agreeing
Yeah,
to
I was
something
like-
like that.
Those awkward moments where I was completely like, yeah. You know where parties at?
Parties
Yeah,
are
let's go to a
fun.
party. Like, yeah. So things you don't know when you're in your early 20s and completely.
Alan, was that the same trip where you went to a bar and they were watching baseball, but it was Little League baseball, and you realized that Philadelphia fans are actually the absolute worst
Yes.
because they were
Yeah.
dogging 12-year-olds for striking out or missing
Yeah,
a
they're-
ground ball or
yeah.
something?
Yeah, they were. I was at a hole in the wall in Philly, and there's a bunch of Philly fans, and there's no other sports on except for Little League World Series, and they were yelling, screaming, cussing at the TV at these 12-year-olds every time something happened. I'm like, are Philly fans really this bad? Like, yep, they're really.
Throwing
So-
beers at the TV,
Sorry, Dean.
Betting-
Sorry,
betting
Dean.
on-
Yeah, Daner.
betting on these games.
But you guys suck.
But they take pride in how shitty they are as fans. Like, the more you dog them about it, they're like, damn right, we gave that 12-year-old a hard time. He missed the goddamn ground ball. How hard is it to backhand it, turn the double play? Fuck. Can't do that. Go home.
That was me yesterday. We played kickball. And I'm like yelling at the kids, like, you didn't catch the fucking ball. And I like caught myself because I'm cussing at kids. I'm like, yeah, I can't lose my job at this point. So it is what it is.
Or can you?
Or can you? Yeah.
The Lord will
You
provide,
know.
Chris. You're okay.
Yeah. So after Perrin says no, she immediately like kind of reassesses the situation. She's like, well, how about you come visit me in Maine sometimes? I'll come show you my bed chambers. I have some really cool ironwork and in my bedroom, and and maybe you can
She
come
wants
here
some iron work on her.
She wants to take him on a ropes course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And Perrin's like,
Wants to
no.
feel the
Still no. So I mean, Matt and Perrin both are pretty like interface denial of her. Is the difference that Matt kind of talked to her first, so she's like, I'm not interested in that. But Perrin immediately is like, no. She came to him and he denies her. Is that the difference between them? Like, why does she seem more interested in Perrin than Matt?
Them shoulders.
It is the shoulders.
It's just the shoulders.
It's the broad shoulders, the smooth, strong chest.
Because I like what Ian said about I can't manipulate him, blah blah blah. But I mean, at this point, it's clear she can't manipulate Perrin either, or maybe she still thinks she can.
I think it's yes. I was gonna say that. I think she does feel like she has the ability to manipulate him if she really wants to try. I think the other side of that is Matt is not only not able to be manipulated, but it would be more along the lines of he would be attempting to manipulate her. Like Perrin's not willing to manipulate. Not easily manipulatable, but not going to be manipulating somebody else. Is very straightforward. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
I concur. He doesn't seem like the type.
Yeah.
So there's also the possibility, this one's far-fetched. So if you put it in predictions, like penciled in lightly, let me start with the reasons why. So right off the bat, we see Barrelane, when she's introduced, she's thrown herself at anybody that seems to be significant. She shows up. She's like, oh, Rourke, like, Rao, Rand, Rao, we can do our thing. It's like she's trying to connect with anybody of power, significance, or whatever. And so far what we see, like, well, Matt is known to be associated with Rand. He's been keeping himself in the outskirts. Perrin's been spending a little bit more time with him and maybe has a little bit more stature from the outside looking in from these people here. So maybe she was trying to get with Perrin more, but then you got to think about why. So my point being is why. Maybe her power is threatened at this point. Maybe there's internal struggles in her homeland. Maybe there's issues there that we don't know about, and she's trying to find some sort of alliance. And unfortunately, it seems to be leading her down this path, if what I'm saying is correct, down this path of, being loosey-goosey, using the silk type clothing to just trying to latch onto some dude, to help solidify her power. Or maybe she's seeing the writing on the wall with everything that's happening and knowing that her city state is threatened. I don't know. But it's possible that she's doing this for, political reasons, to try and either maintain the power she has or, gain more power, whatever. So Matt was somebody that she just didn't think could help her along that path. So she's like, heh. But Perrin was kind of like Perrin's kind of been around the dragon. He's kind of respected. Da-da-da-da-da. And of course, Rand is somebody she definitely tried, but that was a hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing at some point she tried Rourke. I think there was. I think she offered that at the end of the. I think she offered that at the end of the last book.
She did, yeah. She said
there was a hint at it.
Yeah, there's a hint.
And then in these chapters we're reading, Rourke basically tells her, "But remember last time you tried this shit, and you know what happened, right? You better keep moving." Which I want to know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, that's good. I would love to know what happened. Yeah.
So, anyways,
so as all this is happening, Fail enters the room.
Everybody's favorite pheasant feathered fan flinging falcon, Fail.
Fail, yeah, and Barrelane starts laying on thick right in front of Fail, and Perrin's still saying no, and she kind of leaves by saying, "I always get what I want." right before she leaves. And then Perrin's kind of uneasy because Fael is completely calm. Like,
Yeah,
not good.
Something's
not
wrong.
good.
This
Something's
is
not
bad.
good.
This
This
is
is
bad.
bad.
The way Jordan describes what Bearlane's doing, like the very moment that Fael walks in, from the parent perspective, it's like she's leaning in as if she's going to kiss and da 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 and very close. But what's important is, from the other person coming in, walking in on this, it could look like somebody leaning in for a kiss, or it could look like somebody that just finished one.
Mhm.
Like she intentionally, I don't know if she has like real beef with Fael, or if she's just trying to isolate Perrin, which is something manipulators do. They isolate their victims. We could talk offline about how I know about that shit. But yeah, just very calculated. And I don't know. I'll just say I'm not a fan of Bearlane.
What?
I mean, so maybe in the future maybe in the future we learn about some of her trauma that helps me understand, and so I don't hate her. So I won't say I hate her, but I don't think I'll be a fan of her.
Mm.
Yeah, not feeling
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So what do you think about Fael's being calm about all this?
I think that's the worst part of it all, to be honest with you. It's the calm before the storm is always the worst, because it lulls you into this false sense of security. And then it's like, boom. I mean, how many times have you guys got caught in the storm?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
And-
true.
Yep. And Fael's there because she heard the rumors with the White Cloaks too. And she's like, well, obviously, Perrin, you're going. So when are we leaving? And Perrin's like, I'm leaving. You're not. I'm going by myself. And she's like, well, how are you going to get there in time anyways? It's like months and months away, like to ride. She's like, I'll just use the ways. And she's like, well, what? You can't do that. She's like, I've done it before. Loyal will guide me. It'll be fine. Like we'll go. It'll be a couple days. Not like a whole month or something like that. It'll be just a few days, and we'll be in the Two Rivers. So what do you think about using the ways again? I mean, last couple times it wasn't really that nice of a place.
Not a good place.
So on using the ways, let me back up. Now, I'll say I'm curious. I kind of want him to, because it would help answer some questions that I, the reader, has. Too drunk to get my tenses right.
Both are fine. Both are.
Right. All right. So if they go into the ways and it's Perrin and Loyal and Fael, because let's be honest, Fael's going to go with Perrin. Perrin doesn't realize yet that it's a we thing. He keeps going, I'm going to do this. And Fael's like, what are we going to do about this info? Like, he needs to realize it's a we. But anyways, if they go and nothing happens and they could just travel the ways and it's no big deal, and Martin Sheen doesn't come along and try to hang out with them, then that tells us something about the other. Yeah, we call it Martin Sheen. I thought that was common nomenclature.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all that are listening don't get the visual, but I said Martin Sheen, and DT
I missed that one.
did a look and shook his head. So I don't know. Sometimes we come up with this stuff, and I think everybody knows it.
I haven't caught every episode. So.
Right? No, that's fair. That's fair.
I love it though. I love it.
I brought up finger blasting with other
I got that one.
people,
I got that one.
and they're like, "What's finger blasting?" I'm like, "Wait, the whole Wheel of Time community doesn't know this yet." Like, we said
I
it
thought
twice.
I knew them all.
Clearly-
That's why it
clearly
shocks me.
it's
I have got a
canon.
lot of them. So. Hey, go on.
Yeah. So it would be cool to see if they were able to travel through it no problem, because that would tell us something about the other people that were traveling before and who they were after. And let's not jump to conclusions that it was Rand. It, could be Land, because Land's the man.
And
Yeah,
it would mean
Archie
another loyal chapter.
Oh, Loyal. We need a little Loyal. Loyal's
Well, it means a couple things. Like that would also mean not only do you get loyal, you get the ways again, but where are they going? They're going to the freaking Two Rivers if they do that. That's How do you feel about that? A return? What do you think?
Yeah.
I think whenever it happens, whenever we get back to the two rivers, I think that's gonna be one of the moments where we unfold and open up like a whole nother story in a whole nother direction.
Time traveling Tam.
Well, time traveling. Yeah.
He's not there. He's in the past already.
Obviously, in the past, so he can go to the future, so he can prevent the undoing of the now. Right. But so we have our two rivers spoke, but we've also talked about, and I'm going to Lord of Rings it, the Misty Mountains. What's actually
Mountains of Mist.
Mountains of Mist. Yeah,
right?
Close
Mountains of
enough.
Mist.
Close enough.
And
It's
there's
a nod.
rumors of what might actually be there, and maybe there's people there, and maybe I feel like it's
What do you think I saw?
exactly.
Bom, 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 bom.
We haven't run into the dwarves and the elves yet. They're coming in this book soon.
Right.
Baby,
And so
baby,
we
like
also
it.
got the weep early
Missing
on.
Hop.
We got weep from Manethrin from
Yep.
Rain. So we know there's a history, there's a bloodline, there's a passionate group of just fighters, resistors, and if they're not exactly into rivers, like maybe that's what's in our Misty Mountains nearby. Like I don't know. I kind of
Well, they're-
want some shit to go down there so we can dig into what's left. Like what's the residual from these thousands of years history of these people that were badasses at once? Like, are they badasses again? Or do we find some secret army hiding in the Misty Mountains? Or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, secret mountain army. I like it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
It happens.
Sure.
I mean, I've got one. You don't have a secret mountain army?
Bro.
Bro.
Yeah.
What do you say, my secret mountain army, baby?
Yeah. And at this point,
Well,
Heron's being really persistent, trying to say, Fail, you can't come, you can't come. And she's trying to be persistent, saying, Yes, I am coming. And then finally he
That's what she
snaps.
said.
Yeah. And then finally he
Yeah.
snaps and says, Well, maybe I'm interested in barreling. Maybe that's what I want. Maybe I don't want you.
Not even maybe.
Yeah.
he's like,
it was just like, I'm gonna go visit.
that girl's hot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there, maybe.
Who wouldn't
Things-
want her?
Things
On
you
my
shouldn't
lap.
say in a fight. Things you should never say in a
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
your sister's hot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of them.
So
I mean, he
any-
ended that conversation really
Yeah.
quickly, though. I'll go back just a minute. Sorry, keep interrupting.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I find that it's interesting that he's so willing to go into the ways, but I also am interested to see now that he's developed himself more in regards to his own powers, what he may discover upon entering. Because we don't know much about what the ways is. We don't know its connect, other than the fact that it connects the two worlds. Like, we don't really know any history behind it enough to say maybe it's a dreamscape that he could enter into, and maybe maybe his power will evolve while he's there. Maybe he'll be able to shift and change. You know,
Yeah.
I have all these thoughts in that regard. We
Yeah.
haven't really tapped into the ways, and we know there's the black abysmal nothingness that's there that's trying to consume all souls, but
Yeah.
you know,
We know how the
He
ways
is-
was
he is-
created. I mean, we
Yeah.
did talk about that in previous books. It's been a long time since we've addressed that, but they were created
Yeah.
by the male Aes Sedai as a gift to the Ogiers for letting them stay in the settings.
yeah, but we
but
don't
also-
know what it is, though.
but
We don't
also
know if
after-
it's a,
Yeah. But that was
Yeah.
after they all went
Sorry.
mad. So
So it
Yeah.
might have to do with this massive ring that Egwene has that clearly wasn't made for human fingers, but possibly Ogier fingers.
yeah.
it was one
Maybe.
ring. It was one
It
ring.
could.
I mean, I
It's
got
all
large fingers, though, Ian, so
So
maybe it's
Chris,
meant for my hand.
I'm sorry I haven't said this to, like with you present to be able to defend yourself, but I've just put you in the Ogier category, and I've mentioned it to other people. You're
My
more human
nephew
than-
calls me an ogre.
yeah, you're more human than the human man, as some
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
But I
He
say that in a
calls me
very
Shrek
loving
all
way.
the time.
So plot twist, the ring that Egwene has is actually a ring that some small people have to take from her and take it through a epic journey to a fiery mountain, and throw
Throw
this
it in a
ring.
volcano.
Well, the
And-
first small person that gets it has to take it from a dragon.
yes.
Well,
Well, from
So-
the dragon.
Dragon.
Rand will take the ring first.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And change his name to Schmog.
Yeah, and sit on it.
We've now entered the portion of the podcast where I've had just enough to drink that I am going to make no attempt to stay on topic. So,
Yeah,
Alan,
do we have one? to
Alan,
begin
good
with?
luck.
We haven't even hit the good chapter yet.
Yeah,
You're already
exactly.
loaded.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Yeah.
The sangria is so good.
Let's get back on
Let's
track.
get it.
Perrin says he's going to get with Barrelane. Fail runs out the door, slams the door, runs out, and then Perrin's left thinking, he's like, I couldn't tell her. I just couldn't. He's had this internal monologue saying, I couldn't just tell her that the whole reason I'm going to Two Rivers is so they can hang me. Like, I can't let her watch this. That's why I'm driving her away. Like, I can't tell her that because she'll try to stop me, but it needs to be done. I need to save my people. And the only way I can save my people is to give myself up. Thoughts?
I don't think the white clubs won't be satisfied. They're a vengeful group, and in their minds, anybody connected to a dark friend needs to go. So he's wasting his time to think that he can go submit himself for the sake of his people, because then he becomes a martyr of some sort, and they're not going to let that happen. By the time he gets there, half of them will probably be dead to begin with.
Right.
So I'm going to put a plug here. And this is something I just recently stumbled upon. I'm going to plug it. People listening,
What are you gonna
especially guys, but anybody. If you haven't seen a TED Talk, I'm trying to find the guy's actual name. May not be able to find it, but he wrote the book Man Enough. So you should be able to look that up. The book I just got, haven't read it yet, but talked to some people that have been through the book and started listening to his podcast, and they sent me his TED Talk, and it's pretty fantastic. And it has a lot to do about, I won't kill too much time on it, but there's just so much stigma about the term, man up, being man enough, and how traditionally in the past that has been very anti the feminine, not anti-feminist, but like just anti the feminine. And anyways, all sorts of issues with that. But part of what he talks about is a lot of men that don't have good ways of discussing issues they have, discussing their emotional problems. Like they just have to be the builder, the saver, the worker, the whatever, and they suffer in silence. And you have all these men out there that for quite some time have had all these issues that they're just convinced they can't share with anybody. And this guy, the little bit that I watched, there was a story about where he was hanging out with other guys and he finally just broke down and confessed them all the issues he was having and fears that he had and insecurities that he had, thinking that they were just going to dog him. And then it turned out like all these other guys that were very strong male figures also joined in talking about how they had the same issues or similar issues, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, it just so happened that I'm reading this, watching this about the same time that I'm reading this part of the book. And Perrin is very much that like horrible, dangerous, like stereotypical male, like he internalizes so much. And like there's many things about him that I respect, but he internalizes so much, and he's doing the suffering in silence, and I can't tell anybody what I'm going to do. And he obviously has all of these strong emotions in him, like, and his actions are, he thinks out of love, like because he wants to save people. He doesn't want to hurt Fail. He doesn't want her to see that. He feels responsible for what's going on to the people in the Two Rivers, everything. So he's already come to this conclusion that, well, I just have to go fucking off myself and that'll save everything. But he talks about this with no one. He doesn't share it with anybody. Like he doesn't feel comfortable doing it. Not even with his friends. He doesn't have the conversation with Rand. He doesn't talk to Matt about it. Even with Fail, where at this point we all know like there's not just caring, there's love there between the two of them, even though they haven't said it yet. And he can't have the conversation with her. He just thinks it and knows he can't say it to anyways. So there was a serendipitous moment where as I'm reading this in my own personal life, I'm going through this also. So anyways, guys out there, if you're listening, if you haven't looked it up yet, Man Enough, I apologize. I don't know the author's name right now. There's a TED Talk that's like 8 minutes long. Listen to it. It's so freaking good.
Okay.
And
Have fun.
I think that's actually a really good tie into this. I mean, these boys clearly, and maybe not even just the boys, I would include Maureen in this, but there's clearly some communication issues that could have made things a lot easier. Like, so yeah. I think that's-
Communication problems in the real time? No. Say it ain't so.
right?
Say it ain't
Weird.
so.
But in the spreadsheets, that's the first time it's been brought up on this podcast.
Yeah.
But no, here or any other, I'm sure. Like, yeah,
Yeah. So I wouldn't call that a tangent.
Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty relative.
it's a thing.
No, not at all.
And you also have to think about
exactly what you said kind of hits.
I was gonna say you also think about the wild
I
card
love-
also with the White Cloaks and the Two Rivers. Who else is there? We learned in the prologue that they're not just the White Cloaks there. There's one other person there as well.
Haddon Fane.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
Our
mentioned in
good
this
old
chapter.
friend Haddon Fane.
Because that's what Rand says, right? When Matt asks Perrin, "What did Rand say?"
Yeah.
He's like, "He said he'd do it. I should have known he'd do it."
Yep.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I agree with you, Ian. There is a lot of, I'm going to go on that tangent too, a lot of toxicity and when it comes to the word masculinity. That's one of the things that I studied when I was in school was, of course, I was taught by a large number of feminists. So it's like, yes, attack this idea. But masculinity is definitely tainted our perspective of human emotions. And we have to essentially mask our own sense of true self in order to put on this facade. And it's created this situation where we have male privilege, but with that privilege comes responsibility that we have to bear that oftentimes is really tough to really work through.
Mhm.
impossible.
Yeah.
It's
And
impossible
so,
to work through.
Mhm.
I mean, and sometimes what looks to be the easiest situation, if you had, or excuse me, the easiest answer, if you had somebody to talk through the situation with, you'd see really isn't the feasible solution. So,
Right.
you know, he thinks he's found the answer, but that's because he's out of his mind with misery and grief. And now he has to protect more than just Fairland, but he has to protect his entire people. So he's doing the one thing that just seems to be the only solution.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I feel for him.
Yeah, he's a little down right now.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
He's down, and we feel for him. I guess. And one other thing, I guess I'm thinking about, at this point is, I think enough has happened from the reader's perspective. Him and Fail, like, at least for me, maybe I'm reading into this. I feel like they both care for each other quite a bit. And I threw out the love word earlier, and it's not just that they have that affinity for each other, but I think they also recognize that the other person loves them as well. But
Agreed.
even now, like, Perrin doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't even cross his mind to have the conversation with her. He feels that it's his job, his role to make that decision for her, to not come, to not be a part of it. I mentioned that earlier, that Fail had already made up, from her perspective, it's we. Her pronouns are we. What are we doing? How are we going to solve this? I'm with you now. And Perrin is just, I have to do this to save you. Like, I'm doing it for you. But it's in his mind. He's not having that conversation with her. He's not letting her being part of that decision
Again,
process.
I think some of that comes
I
down
don't
to
know.
that toxicity, and the other part comes down to the male privilege. Like, as men, we have this authoritative being. You know,
Like
if you
we
look
are
at
the
us,
decision maker.
yeah, if you look at us biologically,
Arr.
women are much stronger. They're much more capable. We all know this.
They make better
but-
decisions usually.
I mean, then yes, but
At
yeah.
least
I
in
mean,
my life. Yeah.
yeah. But you know, we have been led to believe that this is the way it should be, and as men, we make the decision. This is him establishing his authority, and this is the decision that he has made for them. But he's using I terms because
Yep.
she's less than in that sense.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
and then again,
He's
it
putting
is
his
that-
foot down and telling her that this is what's good for her, even though he's not telling her,
exactly.
but he's made the decision of what's better for her.
And which
Anyways,
it makes
I
it
don't
very
know.
toxic
Sorry.
because you don't have that opportunity to then lean on your partner and really determine and assess the situation. Because I feel as if her assessment is correct, even if he makes it there in 2 or 3 days, he's going to find nothing but chaos. He needs to go with an army at hand. And the best line that he could have taken was to convince Rand to, if nothing else, send a group of Aiel with him, or to send, you know, I would send some of the army men from the stone or whatever, just to break them up.
Something.
Yeah,
So,
I would. It would be twofold. It would break them up so that they can't really collude against him, but then it also gives parents some backup. And then it establishes some authority in regards to, you know, Rand's say in the matter, because he hasn't really put them to action. He really hasn't given them work. And we know that idle minds are the devil's playground. So,
Heck yeah.
or Beelzebub.
I'm
pretty awesome.
I'm more simple than that. I wish Perrin and Fail could just there's something about what's going on between the two of them. Like, I'm convinced if they could be 100% honest with each other, and they both be in the we, not the I kind of
Yeah.
mentality, I think they could fucking wreck shop. I think the plans they could come up with, not just what they could do individually or as a team together, but
But
what they
guys,
could come up with would
They'll be stronger
fantastic.
together for sure.
guys, I didn't put my floaties
Yeah.
on tonight, and this is I'm drowning over here. So
Drowning. 10-foot swells, riptide, Alan, you're
Oh, it's
fucked.
freaking Chris, man. You think like a nosy noble, man. You are
Yeah.
deep. You
Yeah.
got all that figured out.
Yeah. So let's switch characters here. So after Perrin has his thoughts, we go back to Fail, and she's angrily striding through the halls of stone. After Perrin's comment about Barrelane, and she actually sees Barrelane.
This
Which
is my
is-
favorite scene. I know back in book 1 and 2, we had moments because we were challenged to talk about our favorite scenes and our favorite moments. So I'll just say out loud, this
Nice.
was my favorite scene, and this will establish my favorite character of the 3 chapters. You may continue.
Yeah. So she confronts Barrelane straight on, like, you stay off my man. And Barrelane turns back and goes, okay, farm girl. Like, you know,
Because you said stay off my man, I'm just gonna let you know what my plan is. Step 1, your man is mine. Step 2, go F yourself.
yeah. Once I'm done with him, you can have him back. But you know, I'll take him until you know I'm done with him.
I don't even really want him. I just want you to not have him. So
Yeah.
he's gonna be like an extra toy. I have toys, but I'm gonna add him to my list of toys. Because look at those broad shoulders.
Yeah, exactly.
They're broad. They're shouldering. Like, I need a couple of those. I mean, I have some, but I need a couple more.
So at this point, Fail boils over. She pulls a knife out and she goes in full attack mode. And to at least of my surprise, my first read through, Barrelane takes none of that. She just whoops up on Fail.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
So
She
this
says-
was the only surprise. I kind of like meandered through these chapters because like as you read, it all kind of made sense. It's like, okay, yeah, okay, yep. This is typical Perrin, this is typical Matt, right? We're getting through it. Wait, Barrelane did what? Like, in my mind, I already thought, and I think I'm right in this. Fail has good instincts, decent
Mhm.
fighter, well trained. She's not a novice, right?
Mhm.
She was traveling on her own for a while, getting ready to chase the goddamn horn. I hope she wasn't doing that with zero skill.
Mhm.
And she attempted a small move and got
Just-
overpowered by Bearline instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, is Berlin just that badass, or is
Well,
Fire-
she underestimated Airlane for real.
Yeah, she
There's a
did.
combo there.
And
Little bit of
Berlin says,
badassery
"Hey,
and
I'm the head
underestimating.
of our little small state. Do you think we're not trained to deal with assassins? Like
Yeah.
they try to assassinate us
Yeah.
all the time.
Every
We're
day.
trained from birth to deal with
Every day.
assassins. Like, come at me."
I despise being attacked, farm girl.
I could like it's almost Matrix style, like with one hand she's defending the knife, on the other hand she's blowing off her freshly painted nails. Like I'm gonna use these to go entice your boyfriend. Yes. You know, it just seems so like casual how she defended the attack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fail's blown away. Blown away. She's like,
Yeah.
how did I end up on my ass? I don't get it.
She's like, maybe I'll leave scars on his back.
Yep. Yeah, and Berlin continues to taunt her. And Fail, draws a second knife, gets ready to attack her again, and then Rourke shows up and disarms both Fail and Berlin. Fail actually tries to punch Rourke, and that doesn't work because he's a badass Aiel, and he's like, "No, sit down, girl. Both of you guys stop." And Berlin, go back to your room. And she starts to protest. Says, "Do we need to repeat our first talk?"
All right.
Was it really a talk?
Nail on the head right there. Nail on the head. So
Nail
at this
in the
point,
head?
nobody should care about Rourke overpowering Fail or even Bearlane, but brushing Fail to the side, no big deal. But the reference to "do you want me to do whatever again?" We've already seen Bearlane overpower Fail, and then very easily Rourke comes in, lays a slap down. And I mentioned earlier at the end of the last book, like Bearlane was like, well, first the dragon and then Rourke, or whatever she actually said. I don't have it in front of me. And then we have this reference where clearly she attempted something with him. There was
I think she got what she wanted. And
I
then
don't think
some.
I don't think she did.
I think she
I
tried.
think she attempted, and Rourke
I think she attempted to own him, and he owned her.
Rourke laid the right. I
And then
think she
he mounted
attempted.
the horse.
Right. I think he put an end to that so hard that this is the first time.
Yeah.
Well, second time.
And
I guess
Rourke's
I
married
got-
to Amice and another woman, so
I think they all got mixed up.
Yeah.
I was
He's
going
married
to
to
say
two-
this was the
two
first
women.
time. This was the
What?
first time she tucked tail,
Strong
but
man.
I'll say this is the second time when Rand lost his shit and she was there and she came running out. I guess you could kind of qualify that as tuck tail. I'm in over my head.
Mhm.
But this is the only. But okay, that's the dragon losing his goddamn mind. So we all would run out of there going, "The fuck just happened?"
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is the first real interaction where we see her going, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave," because
He
somebody
told
tried
both
to
his
put pressure on her.
wives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what really
That's-
happened.
Oh, maybe you might not be wrong.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I know if somebody told Chanel, he came up and approached me, I'd be taking off pretty quick.
Pew.
Yeah. So Berlin, leaves, and Rourke keeps both of File's knives as punishment and warns her harsher penalties if she does not keep the peace. And after Rourke leaves, File has this final thought that she's determined to, the parent will be hers, no matter
yes.
what. Yeah.
He
She
will be mine.
She will be mine.
Right. And she makes kind of a departing statement, though. She kind of leaves saying like, "Oh, what did Berlane say again? What was that?"
She
Oh.
says.
You guys-
She said, "So long and thanks for all the fish."
No, she
No.
said- there was
was
something
about-
Berlane said that she went back to at the very end of this chapter and says, "What
Yes,
was it
it's
she
about-
said?"
Ogier,
On Ogre's Oath.
The Ogier's
yeah.
Oath. Yep.
And she runs off very excited. What do you guys think is going on there?
I think I miss Loyal. This is where Jordan messes up. He deprives me of Loyal for so long. the moment he mentions Ogier, and I should be getting deep into it, I'm just thinking, well, gee whiz, what's he doing?
Sure.
How did he do during the attack? Did he have to kill somebody? Did he sing to a tree and make that wood grow into a battle staff so he can defend himself?
Oh, it's so fun getting to see your faces while I listen. I always listen. I never get to see this. This is so much better.
I'll tell you what. Even when I was on my sailboat recording in my phone, when I made comments like that, I was still acting it out. Even though nobody
Animating?
could
Yeah,
see me,
yeah.
I was still animating 100%.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. So that's how we end this chapter with Rourke, with Fael thinking I'm gonna have Perrin no matter what. She will be mine, or he will be mine. Yes. And yeah. Any final thoughts? Anything we missed from this chapter? I mean, we spent a lot of time on it, but
I have a question for them if they don't have any final thoughts on their own. First of all, though.
Nope.
Give us questions.
Okay, I do
Challenge
have a
us.
question. One thing. So we've been delivered in this chapter his plan for what he kind of wants to do next, which presumably could be what's coming in this book. Could be. We never know with RJ. Which is I'm going to go save the two rivers by killing myself or giving myself up to be killed in recompense for what he feels, as you said, Ian, responsible for. Do you think it goes that way? Do you think that that's where we go from here?
Oh, absolutely not.
No, not even close.
And then if you don't think that, how do you think the Two Rivers goes, or do you think we never do the Two Rivers thing? Where are we headed here?
Oh, I hope we do the Two Rivers thing. And part of the reason I hope is because I feel like, well, y'all have heard, I know there's more to Tam than we've been given. And I want to say there's got to be a lot more to
Matt's father.
Well, Matt's father, but Perrin, who he's working for, the blacksmith.
Yes.
Luhan?
Master Luhan.
Yep.
Master Luhan. The fact that he was like, oh, you're going off on an adventure. Hold on. Take this fucking battle axe with you. Makes you think, all right, Luhan, what you know? Who you hang out with? Maybe Luhan is the local contact for the Mountain of Mist folk. I don't know.
We were given the battle axe scenario, right?
Right.
I'm not sure you recall that. It was fucking 2 years ago for you guys. You're reading it so slowly. I don't know how you guys do.
The trouble is we drink while we do this, so I don't remember anything.
No, but it's true. It's true. Good question. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So,
and more importantly, Mistress Luhan. Yeah.
Ooh,
She's the real badass.
Yeah, I
believe so.
agree completely. I do hope. Go ahead, Ian.
I was saying, I just recapping. I want it to happen. I don't know if it will, but I want it to.
And
badly.
if we do, Perrin's gonna go die, and then that's the end of Perrin.
No, Perrin's not going to die. Like it's going to be one of those like.
So you're not buying that, okay?
Like at the maybe it gets close to the moment. Maybe he even surrenders himself, and it's about to go down. But at the moment, there's a dire moment where like something swoops in, whether it's the Two Rivers folk finally. Relate.
Well, let's go on your idea of
happens.
people being in the Mountain of the Mist. Let's work on that.
I feel
we don't know
stronger
where
about
the way
that.
we don't know where the ways is going to exit in the Two Rivers. So maybe he gets dropped off in the Mountains of the Mist and finds the people of the Mist, and they're like, "What up, Ken?" And it's like, "Nothing much, dog." And it's like, "Let's go down and take care of some business."
Brings the mystic.
Because they've been waiting for
Holy
that.
shit.
Yeah, because there wouldn't be a Waygate in Emmons Field. Maybe it is up in the mountains. Yeah.
in the mountains.
Yeah.
Even if there was one, Chris, this is Jesus. I told y'all earlier I was terrified that I would have to do this show without Chris here because the bouncing back and forth is so important. I didn't even think of that. Like, how do we incorporate the people from the Mountains of Mist or Misty Mountains or whatever we're calling that shit?
Yeah.
But we already know the ways are crumbling. They're struggling. Even if there was a waygate in the middle of Two Rivers, it's very easy that we're almost there. Oh, no, the bridge is collapsing. We have to go around this way. And they come out, and it's in this place that we've heard that there's potentially some cool people, something going on in the mountains. And he hooks up with them and then works his way down. And that's the army that saves the day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Chris,
I like
you're the fucking man. Alan, hold on. TT, give him a second. Alan, pull up the spreadsheet. Go to the predictions.
Yeah, this is why I asked the question. I needed a prediction at the end of this chapter. I know they weren't monumental, but there's
I made
there's
two
there.
statements that were meant to be predictions, and they've already left my mind that quick. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, not now. Earlier on, I made statements.
I
I'm
heard
a-
some predictions there anyway.
I'm a double down on ways to the Misty
Mhm.
Mountains
Yep.
to a big motherfucking army coming in and save the day.
Hmm.
I like
and
it.
over into the entering the valley.
It
will
might be book-
Tom on a unicorn with Moraine.
sweeping Moraine off her feet, and they go make sweet, sweet love. You know what? At this point, fuck it. I agree.
Yep.
Sure.
Unicorn riding Tom. Prediction that. Awesome. Great job. That's awesome.
Alan's pretending to update the spreadsheet, but he's typing into his own personal diary. I hate my life.
How'd you know?
Sometimes I
he's-
question what I'm doing.
I think
So
he's
when did the elves
texting his
show up?
wife. I need more wine.
That's a bad idea right now. Yeah, I'm gonna. He might need more wine, but don't text your wife.
It's Figment. That's what
I got plenty here, boys.
I'm counting
Yeah,
on this
but
break.
for real,
It's
when
not
when
money.
do the elves show up and the
Yeah.
dwarves?
You didn't see when Ronan showed up?
We got opposite elves. We got Ogier.
You're gonna have to watch the
Or opposite
video
dwarves.
when Ronan shows up for the good night because he has elf ears. They come to a point.
Mhm.
I don't know where they came from. I don't have them, and his mom doesn't have them, but they're straight elf ears.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Anything
All right,
else?
Alan.
All right. You guys ready to go to chapter 15 or you guys want to take a break or what do
I have to pee and refill a drink.
Okay.
We got the pee time. We got the Whiz Palace, as delusions are called.
I've got a bottle here in the car.
God,
Okay.
Chris, I feel you, man.
I got
I feel
a
ya.
bottle in the car. I love it.
Hopefully, it's a large Gatorade bottle because the traditional water bottle, that's tough.
Yeah. Never leave home without your
Yeah.
catheter. Just
You need
saying.
you need an empty Gatorade bottle to make it work,
If we want to
or a pickle jar, depending
I
on.
can stop the recording for a little bit. We can.
While we talk about urinating into jars, sure.
I'm gonna go
Stop.
pee. You're welcome, guys.
Boom.
You're welcome.
Well done. Well done, Ian.
Well
We
done.
almost-
All right. Almost false started.
Premature.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to chapter 15, into the doorway. And we got the dice again. So we're going to start with Matt. So I know we talked about, I know you guys read this and you guys predicted last week or, well, a few weeks ago that Matt's going to go into the doorway.
Can we really call that a prediction? No, let's pause for a moment. This wasn't even a prediction.
No,
This was a given.
this is a given.
This is
Yeah.
a given.
Matt's
We
got-
won't even claim this one. You
Yeah.
can erase that off the board.
Alan,
that
stop-
was a given.
stop playing,
that was
Alan.
going in.
The moment it was mentioned before Matt was even in the story, Chris and I both went, Matt's gonna go through. There's this super dangerous and you might die, but you get some information. Chris and I went, Matt.
Matt.
So we start with Matt. He's in the basement in the center tier. He's looking at the twisted red door frame, the redstone door frame, and he's thinking about Gwen, how he promised her that he would not go in unless his life depended on it. And he's like, "Well, I can't get away from Rand. Rand's gonna go mad. That's gonna kill me eventually. So my life depends on it. I gotta go in." So he justifies it. He's like, "I'm not breaking the rules."
No doubts. It's subjective. My life depends on it.
You guys said that
Oh.
immediately upon him hearing about this doorway. You're like, he's going in. He's going in.
We could talk about surprises of other people, but this one, no surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all had faith in Matt. He never lets us down.
And he knows he can ask 3 questions in there. He knows this much because he's been told this, and he's been thinking a lot about these questions before he goes in. So he has them in his mind. He's thinking about it over and over again. It's like, like when you get told like a phone number and you have to remember it and you're saying it in your head over and over and over again. He's like, he's repeating his questions over and over again. Like, gonna ask the right
Sure.
questions.
Or
Gonna
like
ask the right
you
questions.
find the genie's lamp, you're going to take a minute to think about what 3 wishes you're going to make too. It's
Right.
very similar. I get to ask 3 questions and get true answers.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to think
exactly.
about it. He's got them
Yeah.
planned out.
It's like, did y'all see that meme where I was like, the guy figures out the code. He's like, rubs the genie. He's like, I want unlimited wishes. He's like, it's against the rules. You cannot ask for more wishes. He goes, I want unlimited genies. He's like, fuck.
Gotta still eat, gotta eat to live. Tell her about it when I got the time. Bum, ba-da-ba-bum, bum, ba-bum, ba-da-ba-bum.
Anyway, so he enters in through the doorway, and all of a sudden he's in a room, a round hall, very high ceilings, and kind of this really creepy place. And suddenly there's a creature next to him, and that's all. That's what he describes it. It's like this creature.
It
It's
was
not-
Voldemort.
Yeah, pretty much. It looks very much like a snake.
What do you
Yeah.
want?
Yeah. And and the other thing that's really weird about it is there's no light source, but the creature asked some questions about the light source. Yeah, so that's the creature started asking these questions like, first, do you bring any light? And he's like, no. It's like, do you bring any iron? He's like, no. Any methods of music? No. And Matt says,
So those are the 3 things that are his biggest concern.
yeah, that's the creature's concern.
What did you guys think when you read that?
Yeah,
What
was
is
your
your
thoughts?
favorite
Music?
color?
I can't rock out to Zeppelin while I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh,
brought my
D9.
disc.
Like they have
No
the song,
stairway.
They don't want to forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Odd.
They have the Hidden Tinker song, and they don't want to get any other songs
Oh,
stuck
I
in
like
their
that. I like
head.
that.
So-
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
They don't want a
I-
song to get stuck in their head. Yeah.
I like that Chris was being smart. I went straight Monty Python, and I was like, "What is your favorite color?
Red, no blue.
What is your quest?
Yeah.
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? African or European? I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, Matt finally sees the creature and tries to decide whether it's human. And it looks human, but it's not human. It's like the snake-like. It's weird, but human features, but reminds him of a snake. It's just really,
Tom Marvallo River.
really creepy looking creature.
Yeah, we're meeting new creatures,
Mhm.
boys. This is fun.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about this? Like,
New beings. Creatures kind of
okay.
derogatory.
Yeah,
New
okay.
beings.
New beings. What do you think about these beings and also like to what DT was asking? What do you think about these 3 things he asks besides the Monty Python? No iron, no sources of light, no music.
Well, what is said in the beginning or at the end kind of comes full circle at the beginning. Sensations. They don't want to be overstimulated by anything,
Okay.
and they don't want false sensations. A
Okay.
source of light brings heat. It's not a human sensation.
Mm.
Steel can bring their own pain. It's not a sensation that they can feed off of. And then music brings a sense of joy and pleasure, but again, it's something that they would have to be able to sense and feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is that heat and music and steel bring comfort. And it seems like these creatures almost feed off of the discomfort of the individuals that enter.
Okay.
Not steel, iron.
Iron.
Iron, excuse me. Iron. So
That's
the
brilliant.
iron,
Yeah.
iron indicates weapons, indicates protection.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
All right. So hit me with the restrictions one at a time. Alan, what's number 1?
Light. Source of light.
Light's a constant. From the physics world, it travels at a certain speed. It's a constant
Mhm.
in our world. Wink. What's next?
Iron.
Iron is magnetic. Is it not?
Yes.
Yes.
Very much so.
Phosphorus. Yeah. So also a physical constant in our
Lot-
world.
Yep. Last one, music.
Music, harmony.
Also a constant. It was the universal language. It's the same. No
Very
matter
much
what.
so. Even if you try to jazz it up and you have like these anxious chords, there's still, for the jazz to work, it has to come together at some point.
It's all the
Yeah.
same three chords. Have you
Not jazz. This ain't Green Day. Jazz. You can't play jazz. Jazz chords have some disharmony, but in order for it to work, there has to be a conclusion to it. It always wraps up.
What's the old?
No.
What's
It's
the
a
old,
mathematical language.
the old joke? If you can't be a rock drummer because you can't keep a beat, just become a jazz drummer.
Yeah. You could hit on any beat, whatever.
Yeah, you can hit
But-
any beat, whatever. It doesn't matter.
So, you know, I just got the vibe that early on, the existence of where we're at is in some middle plane, some disharmony, some pocket between realities, and like there's a risk if you go there and you show up with anything that is a strong constant to the reality we live in, you might cause problems there. So, you know, don't do the music, don't do the light. Those are things that could pull us one way or the other. And the iron, I mean, this is the part where I feel is a stretch, but my mind went to the, you know, magnetic and the
Mhm.
ferrous material.
Yeah, I've never taken physics, but every time you speak about it, it like draws this urge for me to go and take another science course.
Well, you should have been in Alan and I. We took an AP physics class senior year, and we learned so much.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
gosh.
learned the boiling point of ink.
Ooh.
That was not part of a lesson.
No, we did a lab on bowling points, and we pranked this teacher all the time. So like at the end of the class, I left the heat plate on in a beaker with water in it, and I just dropped a ballpoint pen into the beaker and just went back to sit down. And then we're debriefing about the lab. And the bell, I'm looking at the clock and waiting for like the time where it's like 1 minute left to the bell rings, and like time it just right and raise my hand up. And the teacher, like, I never raised my hand. The teacher's like, Al, do you have a question? I was like, yeah, I was just curious, like, what's the boiling point of ink? And he's like, why would you ask that? And I was like, I was just really curious. And then the bell rings right as he looks back at the lab, and ink's boiling up everywhere, like all over the floor. Like, it's like whatever. I was like, oh, gotta go next class. Bye. And just like,
Gotta
go. Oh,
Now, for all of you that feel bad about this teacher, and you should, we abused him. Just so you know, both Alan and I, not at the same time, but separately, and we only found out about this after the fact. We both went back and apologized to him because we realized, like, of all the teachers we ever had, we were so bad in his class.
we were
Like,
horrible to him. And I felt so bad when I apologized to him. I went back to like, this was like several years after college. So several years after high school. So I went back to my old high school. He turned ghost white when he saw me. And
no.
I was like, dude, I'm an adult now. I'm not coming to prank you. Like, I'm coming to apologize to you. You know, and
he was terrified when he saw
and he,
Alan.
yeah, and he was in the middle of teaching a class, and he came on the hallway to talk to me. And as we're talking, and I'm apologizing to him, I see a student like sneak up and lock the door to the class, and like, and like so like as I'm apologizing, he turns around to go open the class door. He's locked out of his own classroom and starts like screaming, like banging on the door. I was like, and I gotta go. I'm so sorry for everything I did, but apparently it's still happening. And
Apparently, I'm not the
I'm
only
still
one.
teaching. Like,
it takes
And,
20 years for that pension to kick in.
yeah.
And he's still grandfathered into that one, so he's
He
sticking around.
He was riding into it at that point.
Oh, yeah.
I had a moment at a football game that I was at to give a fairly sincere apology, and we talked quite a bit. And I don't know, Alan, I don't know if you ever went back and talked to him, but your brother actually had a conversation with him at the end of his year in his class as well. And so we talked about that, and he was like, yeah, it's like, you know, everybody always seems to pick on me, but at the end, I guess it's okay because y'all come back and, like, you know, we've made amends and it's all good. And so I don't know. It might just be us. It's probably me, you, your brother, and that might be it. and Ray. Remember, Ray's the one that threw the piece of clay at him, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Or
Yeah, it was a clay.
whatever it was, the
It was
putty,
clay. Yeah, putty.
and hit him in the forehead and almost knocked him out. But Ray also went back. Ray also apologized to him. So that's 4 people.
Yeah.
Hopefully his life is complete.
Yeah, Ray was on the football team. He was a beast of a linebacker, I think he was. Yeah.
No, he was cornerback.
Cornerback. Yeah.
And he played at West Point and was
Yeah.
actually really good.
Yeah. And we
legit.
were playing with putty, and he asked everybody to hand in the putty, and Ray kept on playing with his putty. And he's like, Ray, I need the putty back. He's like, do you want me to throw it to you? He's like,
Yeah, give it to
he's
me
like,
now.
yeah, throw it to me. He's like, you sure you want me to throw it to you? He's like, yeah, throw it at me. He's like, I'm gonna throw it at you. And he like just reaches like hard as he can, just like beans it right at him, hits it square in the head, and like Gums knocked him out. It was pretty bad, but
He had a bruise. He had a bruise in the middle of his forehead for a week.
But he would prank us back. Like he got the Tesla ball that did, and he charged it up for like an entire hour, knowing that one of us.
So we got shocked to shit.
Shit.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
It went back and forth.
As he should.
We got the best. We definitely got more than he did, but he definitely was a good sport
Yeah.
about it and pranked us
Awesome.
back. And yeah, it went back and forth a lot. But
We also boosted his numbers because Marion, myself, and a couple others, I don't know. I think you were at least a 3 or higher on the AP exam.
no,
Did
I
you hit
wasn't.
3? You weren't? Okay.
Oh no,
you drew pictures?
I drew pictures.
Okay.
And wrote a letter of apology to whoever the exam grader was.
There was like 3 or 4 of us that like aced the AP exam, and he was super excited because he knew he didn't teach us anything. And then the rest of us were like Alan, doodled
try.
pictures, drew
didn't care.
sailboats,
At
and
that point of senior year,
apologized to the
I already got in
grader.
college. I didn't really care anymore. But anyway, so let's go back to the book. So
Book?
yeah,
We're reading one?
chapter. Yeah. So they are walking through this corridor, Matt and this being. And he looks outside, and the landscape's all weird.
Go.
The corridor's weird, and he finally arrives at this larger room, and there's 3 figures sitting up on pillars in the room.
The
So-
scenes, by the way, outside remind me of Bleach. If you ever watch the anime, if you
Okay.
don't, go back, look at it.
Okay.
It's a really good anime.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Sure. So yeah, so Matt's very careful about the situation because he's prepped all his questions. So he asks his first question. He's like, "Should I go home to help my people?" And they respond with, "No, you must go to Radian." And the bell sounds, and that completely flusters Matt. Like everything else just goes completely out the window at that point. He's like, "What? What?"
He was hoping for a yes or no
He's
answer.
hoping for yes or no. And he's like, "Iridian, like, why would I ever go to Iridian? Because you will die if you don't." Bong. He's like, "Wait, no, that's my question."
What the fuck is wrong with you people? Bong!
Bong.
That
So
was a
Matt's
statement,
turn
not
is
a
over.
question.
Thank you.
That was
Come again.
hypothetical.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come again.
Yeah, and Matt had planned out like how does he get away from Aes Sedai to recall his lost memories. That was one of the questions he was going to ask, but in anger, he asked him why he should go to Radian. They respond, "Well, you'll die." The second that second bell tolls, and then Matt then forgets everything of what he's planned, and what does he ask? His third question. I'm trying to remember what his third question was.
And the
gotta
spreadsheet.
have
Yeah, he's stuck.
Yeah, Alan, get in the sheets.
Bolts again. I don't have it written down.
So his first one was
First one was like, should I go help my people?
yeah.
And he said, no, you should go to Iridian. Why should I go to Iridian? Because you'll die otherwise.
Yeah, what was the third one?
Chris, you're driving. Put the book down. Stop flipping through the pages. We will find it.
Oh,
Remember his-
okay. The third one is he asks, if he doesn't go to Iridian, will he die? Or something like that. Or he asks, why will he die if he doesn't go to Iridian? That's what he asks.
That's
the
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Why will he
Yes.
die?
Why?
and they said because you'll have sidestepped fate, and you'll be killed because the fate will not be fulfilled.
Sure.
And that's when the final one he says, and
But then he asks a
He sneaks in a
fourth.
fourth question.
Then he
Yeah,
asks a fourth
sneaks
question.
in a
That nigga
yeah,
was like,
and then,
you know what?
and then
Damn,
Matt's really upset, and like everything starts to shake, and like the whole world, like the whole thing's
He went
crumbling
wild
down.
card.
And he's like, no, I'm not gonna take your bullshit answers. Like, what fate? Like, you haven't given me a straight answer. I want a straight answer. What fate? And they're hesitant to answer.
They
this.
actually give him 3 answers
They give him
to
3
his
answers.
fourth question.
To his fourth question. It's like to marry the daughter of 9 moons, to die and live again, and live once more as part of what was, and to give up half the light of the world to save the world.
That's a lot.
He matted the shit out of that.
He mad at it. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I guarantee no one else ever got that many answers out of them.
Yeah, but he also got none of the answers he wanted.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Which
what do
is
you
also,
think of
also part
Well,
of matting it.
We should also mention the questions that he wanted. He mentions both of those too in this.
Yeah.
Which was he wanted to know how to get away from Aes Sedai
Mhm.
and how to fill the
And I mean, he
holes
kind
in
of
his
got that
memory.
answer though.
So-
I mean, if he goes to the waste, he's gonna get away from the Aes Sedai. And since that's his fate, maybe being severe, and he'll be able to get away from Rand to do so.
So what do you think about this whole he has to go to Meridian? Let's start there.
All right. Flashback to earlier today, where I was talking about how Matt is starting to get in this headspace where he knows he's important, but he doesn't know what, and he needs to be pulled, but not to be a number 2, but to be number 1 in his own story, right? And this is kind of following along with that. The obvious is, all right, there's hints that I should go back to 2 Rivers. There's the obvious, I should stand tall next to my Rand and defend the dragon. Da 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 da. But he knows there's something more. That's why he hesitates to commit to Perrin to say, yes, I'm going with you. Or no, I'm staying with Rand. Like he feels pulled. And then there's this other answer of, no, maybe you should go to this other place in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And I'm not saying he's committing to that, but at the very least, this is another step of the opening the eyes of Matt of there's more to this world. There's more to the problems that are going on. You don't have to follow that path, this path, this path. We're at the precipice now where Matt hopefully can choose choices. That's also an inside joke. DT.
Choices.
Choices
No,
things.
I got choices too. I listen enough. I just missed the one somehow.
I figured choices has been around for long enough.
I got choices.
Yeah. So he gets to make a choice about the path he goes down, and it could be the help him, help my past, help my now, help a future I don't understand
What
yet.
was that last part of his answer? The third part?
The third thing to get up the third question he asked, or the third part of the answer?
The third part of the answer.
To give up half the light of the world to save the world.
So could it be that he
Ooh.
travels with the Blaine to the waste?
I mean, that's where Meridian is.
So I'm
Meridian's in
saying,
the
like,
west. Yeah.
maybe he travels with Egwene, and Egwene's the other half of the flame, and you know, he figures he has to sacrifice her.
Ooh.
So Martin was okay with killing people in season 1. I feel like Jordan eventually diced up people and killed them, but like he didn't want to in book 1. And then book 2 happened. He was like, no, but Harriet, I don't need to yet. And she's like, oh, fucking just kill somebody. He's like, no, not yet. And then we're in book 3 and like, I feel like we're at the point where people need to die, like important people.
In book 3.
Right?
And then
Maybe-
he's like,
maybe
no,
book 4.
I'm waiting for chapter 16 in book 4, and everyone dies.
Right. But eventually, Harriet has been very patient, but she's going to put her foot down. She's going to be like, Robert, kill somebody. And
Well, so
and it's happening. We're coming up on it. All of our heroes cannot survive. There's
Let's
no
talk-
fucking way. I will
Well,
hate
Perrin's
this
going to go give
series.
himself up, so that's it.
Right.
Perrin's,
Yeah. If in this series all of our heroes survive, then Alan, fuck you. Like, why am I reading this? I hate this series. That's not gonna happen.
It's
So
another wife sickness.
let's talk about the three things. So to marry the daughter of the nine moons. Let's
Is
talk.
that Lanfear?
Celine.
Yeah,
So,
who's
yes,
the daughter of the
Lanfear.
9 moons? What are the 9
Lanfear.
moons?
Yeah.
The 9 phases of the moon. I know there's.
Oh,
Is there 9? No, it's not
I
9.
don't know.
I'm going with
I don't know.
Lanfear.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Lanfear?
Oh,
feeling.
Lanfear.
So Matt's
Celine.
gonna marry Lanfear.
Marry the daughter of the 9 moons.
daughter.
9 moons had a baby, and
Mm.
Oh shit!
Matt's gonna marry.
Rand and Lanfear procreate. Oh my gosh! Does Jordan describe that interaction?
Or they did, and she's like forsaken B team, also thousands of years old.
No, but
Matt
no.
marries her.
it's okay. It's not that I put you on B team. You are B team leader. You're the leader of B team. That's a Life Aquatic reference.
Yes, it
If
is.
y'all haven't
Yeah.
been there, you need to go do that. Yeah.
To die and to live again, and to live once more, as part of what was.
Hasn't he kind of like died already a little bit there?
A little bit, but did he actually die? So is Matt actually going to die?
He didn't die. No, I
Alan,
don't
stop
know.
fucking
Did he
with
die?
words.
No.
She
Maybe
said
more
die,
death is
not
dead,
die,
and he
die.
becomes one with more death. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Chris,
And then he
listen to
becomes part of
yourself.
what was.
Chris, listen to yourself. You said more death. You said, well, there's a death, but maybe more death. Like there's more to death. Like it doesn't end at death. There's more to that shit.
Yeah.
And you could do it multiple times.
And the last one was to give up half the light of the world to save the world.
I gave you my take on that.
Yeah, you gave a take
He's
on
a
that.
sacrifice of Wayne.
Yeah, and then they name him. They say son of battles, trickster, and gambler, and then reiterate, you must go to Radian. And Matt is carried forcefully out at this point as everything's crumbling and like literally
It's too much. Too
it's
much.
too much. The savor.
The strain. The
Yeah.
strain.
Of course, we didn't realize that 3
Savor.
different people were questioning at the
Yeah.
same time.
Row.
Yeah.
Mm.
And as soon as he gets thrown out, he immediately tries to go back in the doorway and just goes through to the other side. Nothing happens. Can't go through again.
I'm not done with you. I'm not done.
Yeah,
with
he gets thrown through, and then he like gets up all mad, jumps at it,
He
leaps
goes right
through
through the
again,
other side,
smashes
broken
into the
boxes.
wall, stumbles over, knocks, breaks 3 Terrangrial.
Your
Yeah.
your first 2 answers were bullshit, so they don't count. I'm coming back.
back.
You know, wait. no,
That's what he's
yeah.
mad about later too, right? When he says
Yeah.
Maureen later, why can't we go back?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
plan.
So final thoughts on all this before we move to I guess the next immediate scene.
Go ahead.
I like it.
You
I like it a lot.
Good.
There was one thing I wanted to ask you guys. What did he see? Do you guys take note of what he saw out of the window? And what did you think about that? He describes 2 things in that.
From the window.
I was wondering
to
whether
the
or not the
wall.
3 arches that he saw were the
Describes
same
them as
arches to Tarvalon.
Yeah, 3 tall silvery spires
Is that
And
anything
a
to do with Tarvalon?
and a tree with a broken branch are the 2 things.
True, the Rogan Ranch. I'm completely disconnected on that one. I'm like,
Yeah, I think that he almost said that to like make sure it was like repeatable. The broken branch being something that
Yeah.
couldn't,
but Tarvalon comes.
but
to
the
mind.
spires.
Spires.
Okay, curious. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what you thought. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah. So he leaves, of course, the doorway, and Matt starts to think about, review what just happened, and he's angry. And he's pissed about this daughter of the 9 moons thing. He's going on about it. He's like, I'd rather marry a pig than a noblewoman. That sounds like some noblewoman, and I don't want anything to do with nobles. And he's getting all upset, and he's about to leave, and then Rand steps out of the doorway. And Matt's like, hey, bud. And Matt admits to Rand immediately. He's like, yeah, I went through. And Rand's like, yeah. So we both went through. And like, as they're talking, Maureen steps out and it's like, everyone's in there. Okay. That's a big party.
It's a party. It's a party. It's a party.
And
That's the best.
she's not happy at all about this. Like, she's like, which one of them told you about this? And who do I need to kill right now? Because I am pissed. And Rand's
Rand's like, bitch, I'm literate.
Yeah. I read it in a book.
And
Yeah.
Matt's like, I'm no
And that's-
snitch. I'm for bad news.
yeah.
Snitches
Matt
get
someone's like,
stitches
I
and
can
wind up
read
at
too.
ditches.
I can read too. Which Maureen's not buying that at all, but Matt avoids giving away, the answer to get anybody in trouble. And Rand starts going on. It's like, I need an interpreter because I couldn't understand any of the language they were saying. And Matt's like, wait, they're speaking different language? She's like, yeah, they speak the old tongue in there. And Matt's like, yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I knew that.
I knew that.
I concur. I totally concur. Why didn't I concur? Oh my god. So I'll say this. The Matt thing, obviously, Chris and I thought Matt was going. The moment we heard there was a thing that was dangerous, there's a dangerous thing, Matt, right? And then we heard a little bit of the exchange between Moraine and the other girls, and it wasn't inconceivable that Moraine was going to go because she already kind of showed to us, to the reader, that she was willing to risk that because the answers she needed were so important. She needed to do that. So the Moraine thing, not surprising. The Rand thing, I guess that was the most surprising out of the three.
Mhm.
Jordan tied it up nicely with, we've already seen that Rand is reading on his own. He brought all the books in
Mhm.
tier and he's trying to figure them out. That's the only one that was a really big surprise. I thought Rand was just gonna be totally random and how he moved from this point forward. But I guess maybe he's gonna lean on what he learned here, which
Yeah.
we don't know what he learned here.
Yeah.
Maybe we will find out soon. I don't know. But
Yeah.
he was the only wild card at this point, which is normally Matt, but
Yeah.
Rand was the wild card.
And Moraine does explain to them as well that they feed off emotions. That's the savor that they were talking about, and that the fact that there were two Taviran in there at one time, surprised it didn't bring down the whole entire thing. Like that's just
Yeah.
too much. Like two of you were in the same time. Is Perrin in there too? And they're like no, Perrin, please don't be in there. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, slight freak out moment.
Wait, but there were, so Matt was in there, and while Matt was in there, there were two different moments of them feeling overpowered.
Mhm.
So we
Or
say,
three.
right. So it was an issue when Matt was there.
Who went in first? I'm curious. What order do you think they went in? They were all in there at once, and then they came out. Matt, then Rand, then Moraine. Who went in first?
I would think Moraine would take more time than Matt. I think Matt would be I think Matt probably went in last. That's my.
I do too.
I do too.
I think there's some good evidence for that too.
Yeah,
but I think Matt went in
he went
last.
in and it's like that's just like did rapid fire, whereas the other two probably took a lot more time and were a lot more thoughtful,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
lot more calm and collected than Matt.
And,
Just like,
and there was like
"Ugh."
there was an interpreter too, so it's this
Right.
weird, longer, more drawn out conversation.
I think of all of them, I think Moraine had to go first because she would have noticed evidence of somebody else going in before her.
Yeah.
She would have
I
been
agree.
most focused on any, holy shit, there's that dust was disturbed, that whatever. I feel like she went first.
Yeah,
I
agree.
agree.
The next two, I don't know because
No, I
they
go
have-
Rand and then Matt. I
I
think,
still go
Yeah.
Rand and then Matt too. I agree.
agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, mostly if I had to put my money, but the next two were probably less observant of the who went first thing. So
My evidence
Oh, yeah,
for Rand for Matt going last is that when he gets there, unlike Moraine and Rand, who would have walked in quietly, deliberately, opened the door, closed the door, Matt walks in and goes, "There's a door," and he kicks it and breaks it. The door falls apart.
door's
As-
struggling.
As he walks in,
That door has
I think-
been abused.
I think Rand or Moraine would have noticed that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
He does mention footprints though, Matt. He mentions footprints. So
Yes,
Yeah.
someone was there before him. So there's that.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's not like we discovered the end of book 10 here. We just,
No.
you know, that's the
Close.
depressing part. I want to read
Oh.
more.
Or did you?
Damn it. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Oh.
about to say we could have.
He keeps doing that.
So yeah, and then Matt lies to Moraine as well. She asked him, did you get answers to questions? Like I didn't even ask him any questions. They kicked me out.
Pause. They all lied to each other.
Oh yeah, they all did.
There's lies of omission and commission. They all lied to each other. There was no sharing of information here, and I'll leave it to somebody else to make a joke about communication problems.
No,
Here we go again.
Communication. Yeah. And then we end the chapter with Matt asking Moraine, why he can't go in twice, and she avoids answering him. She won't tell him the answer, but apparently now they all have answers. They just don't want to tell each other what their answers are. Or what their
Fucking
questions
bullshit.
were.
We've joked about the communication thing, but there's been a couple moments where it's been like, now is the time to talk.
Yeah.
And it's happened a couple times since we started this, but right now is the time to talk. And they're all going, man, I don't know what happened. Oh, I accidentally closed my eyes when I went in, and I never got a chance to ask questions. Shit
I
just
don't
got
speak-
so crazy.
I don't speak the old tongue, so I don't
What?
know what they said.
What's the old tongue? Meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting too. The old tongue. Were you surprised by that? That Matt didn't need an interpreter?
What?
What?
I didn't. Go ahead.
No, you.
I think we're about to say the same thing. It didn't catch me off guard. It didn't surprise me. I mean, first off, we didn't know they were speaking the old tongue until after the fact.
No, you're right. You've
And
learned
then
that
as soon
now.
as soon as they said it, it was like, it makes sense. It's part of his superpower.
Exactly.
It solidifies the superpower, which I like.
It does.
Yeah.
That he doesn't know he has. He
Right.
just
He's starting to. He
starting
noticed
to.
that time. He
Yeah.
noticed that time. He's like, holy shit. I didn't even notice.
And he's actually upset about it too. He's like,
Yeah.
He doesn't like the idea of being different.
Yeah.
Yeah. He feels like tainted or like,
It's
I'm not
the-
sure
it's
how to
what
read
makes
that.
him more dangerous.
we started early on in this recording. We know there's a Rand taint, right? And we're all concerned about that. There's a lot of information about how Rand is dabbling in the taint, but Matt has his own taint.
Mm.
And it's different, and not many people know about it. And we have to be sensitive to the Matt taint.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, we all have our own taint.
We all do
And
have a taint. We're all
Alan,
born with a taint.
spoiler. Hold on. If you're a first time listener, Alan just spoiled it. We
So
all
what's
have
parents'
our own
taint?
taint.
What's parents' taint?
Really?
File.
You're gonna have to, well, that's who you're gonna have to ask.
Yeah.
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 We just lost listeners with that
yeah.
comment.
Whatever.
I did.
And
but
then we
that's okay.
gained
I don't
20
have
perverts,
listeners.
So that's how we come to the end of this chapter. So any final thoughts about any of these chapters, this whole entire episode? Any questions, DT, you have for these guys?
Yeah, sure. I have questions for these guys.
All right. Shoot.
I want to.
Oh, wow.
I want to know a bit more about what you think about these beings now. And one thing, Alan, were they named? Like, do we have a name? What do you call these beings? Snakes? Is that all we have?
Voldemort.
I don't know if they were named. Were they?
They who must not be named.
And if they weren't named, I want to hear what you guys would name them.
They who must not be named.
So Chris, mine is solid. So if you're, I'll let you go first if you're not sure, just so I don't taint you.
Okay.
How and forget
I have
forget his
no name.
question, but how would you describe them? Like, what did you think inside your mind? Like,
Aliens.
what'd you picture?
I thought aliens.
That's fair.
I thought like,
cool.
all right, beam me up, Scotty. But they went through a portal, beamed up to another realm or something, or and then sent back down.
Sure. And it ties into like the whole different worlds thing too. This is a different world, but it's not a portal world. It's not the dream world. Like there's all these worlds here. Where are they? And
So Chris,
Good
if you were concerned that your thought process was crazy because you said aliens, this is
Yeah.
where everybody's past experience plays into what they're reading now. And I already know, I knew at the moment I was reading this, the mental picture doesn't fit what Jordan was writing, but my mind just wanted to put it in there, right? when we got there, my mind pictured the rats of Nim. And when we were getting answers from Matt's questions, it was Nicodemus. And and I guess there were multiples of them, but it was variations of Nicodemus giving answers to the questions. And I know. So Alan, you look disappointed. DT, you have a what the fuck look on your face. I
No,
promise
it's
you.
good. It's
No,
good.
it's okay. This is not one of
Love it.
those moments where I'm trying to actually anchor down and trying to convince other people. I'm just telling you, when I read through this the first time and I had to give a mental image of who these people look like, it was the goddamn rats in him, and it was Nicodemus. It was a fucking rat with a Fu Manchu that was like super long, and he was giving cryptic answers. And once the moment that hit my mind, I don't even know why it hit my mind, but the moment it hit my mind, I couldn't get rid of it.
So I just sent
And that's it.
I just sent a fan art to you guys via messenger of what they might look like. It's fan art, so
Okay.
But yeah, it is by description, like they're described well. And the other thing was like
I went by madness, not description. That's how I do my life.
so Matt asked his questions, then he asked questions of Moraine. And the other question of Moraine was the what do they get out of it? And she doesn't know what to say to that, right?
yeah. Well, no, she
but she answers, but she doesn't say a lot.
answers.
But she says what she can.
Emotions.
And emotions.
Yeah, they feed off emotions.
And confusion. We're gonna give you an answer you don't like. How do you feel?
Oh, I don't even know how you feel. Interesting thoughts. Anyway, they're neat. They're neat. I hope you guys enjoyed meeting them. I always love that chapter. I was excited to be on this show because that was actually one of the chapters that made me like, you start to like Matt in book 3. Because the first 2 books, you're kind of like, Matt's a dick. I haven't even seen a POV of this guy.
Right.
So you don't really know Matt. And then in 3, you get when he comes in through or when he comes out of his stupor of being under this spell of the damn dagger, you finally get to meet Matt.
Yeah.
And he's in the tower, and then he's immediately badass. He kills Gowan and Galad in a 2-on-1 fight, and then he has this crazy lock.
Well hurt.
And then I was like, man, he's already cool. And then you meet this, and you're like, there's this doorway and prophecies with him, and the prophecies are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And this is where I really was like, holy shit, my favorite character. And
Yeah.
that lasted through my first read. Just
Tell me more about your favorite character, DT, because you just only dabbled in it.
Well, I have 11. I'd like to rank them. I'm going to start at 5, go to 8. No, I don't know. I'm not going to give you too much information.
Sure.
Damn it, Alan, stop.
But early on my
stop reading these guys into it.
In my first read, though, this grabbed me. I was like, this is a cool thing. Like I was waiting for that other world, another beat, because you don't meet anyone new since the Ogre, really.
Yeah.
I will feel you on that. Even though I don't know where it's going, I feel like we're at a moment of there's a different direction about to go down. And
it dropped hints about directions now. Here it
Yeah.
is. You're gonna love this book, guys. You will.
Yeah.
This is
everybody says that.
Books. It's one of my top 3 books.
That's what everybody
series.
says.
Yeah,
That's
my-
why I'm
it's
so
actually
fucking
my-
glad
it's my
Chris
favorite.
showed up tonight. Chris, thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you. We
I was
needed
like,
to
I
bounce
can't
around tonight. We needed.
I was
you.
afraid I was gonna
Me
need to
too.
like replace Chris. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
shit. Not
So,
a- not a
so
good thing.
before we get any further, let's do favorite characters. What's favorite characters from these chapters?
Shit. I always fucking-
File.
I got mine.
Fael, it's Chris's.
Where she pulled those
Yeah.
guys up, bitch, I'll cut you, ho. Like, that's what came to my mind as soon as that scene popped up. I was like, she's a ride or die. Like, I want her on my side.
I'm gonna
So,
predict Ian's. I'll predict Ian's is
Matt?
Bear Lane. Bear Lane.
Oh,
I'm lying. You hated her, but at least she's interesting.
No, she is, but she's part of the reason why I choose Matt. Matt is the character right now. So like what we found out about Perrin and like, I'm gonna go sacrifice myself. Let's be honest, we knew that a book ago.
Yeah,
If-
we did.
If Perrin was given the chance or the opportunity or the choice to maybe some people live or I'm the only one who dies, everybody else lives, Perrin was gonna sacrifice himself. No big deal.
Mhm.
But like Matt is the character right now that's in flux. Matt is the one that really up until this book we're like, okay, Matt's cool, or I've thought that Matt's cool, but like, what does he do? Does he support somebody else? This is the first moment where I feel like the character of Matt, as Jordan is writing it, is
Matt
like,
blows horns.
well, okay, he blew the horn. He did the wild card shit, but that was wild. That was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just do something. I think now it's a little bit more intense than that. I think we're approaching Matt starting his own storyline. Matt being his own main character. We might even be at the point where we realize that Rand is not Rand, or Rand is not the dragon, but maybe Matt is. Like, it could be that crazy. Like, we're at the point where a huge twist could happen. So
You've
I don't
been
know.
waiting on this. You've been waiting on this since book 1.
I've been sitting on Matt since the
You really
goddamn
have.
badger in the field. You have no
I know.
idea. I like,
And
Oh,
I pray for you
continue
that happens.
even if it doesn't. Well, here's the thing: if Matt is the man and Rand is not the man, I still hope good things for Rand.
Yeah.
Always.
Let's go
We'll
back
see.
to some like we brushed over this. So before we go, since you're talking about Matt, let's go back to what these things called him. They called him the son of battles, the trickster, the gambler.
Yes. Who
Um,
was it that he's supposed to be the reincarnate of?
We don't know, but they know the old tongue.
No, but I know the trickster was brought up when they described some of the older heroes, and I can't remember which one it was.
mhm.
It was in the original prologue, and they shimmered in and shimmered out.
Talking about
Ishmael?
Maybe so.
Perchance.
one of the Forsaken. So
That might actually be a good look. Look, at this point, Alan, don't be so negative.
well,
this
Ishmael.
point-
Well, they explained that into book 3. Ishmael was Balsamon, right?
But see, more depth. What's the deal with more depth? I'm gonna
It's
go
not-
back
What's
to this.
what's the
this-
deal with more death?
It's not less death.
Like, wasn't what? How did he become who he is?
Because there was like an average of death, and then he got in the death like arena. Like he decided to take a job that dealt with death. And when he looked at his numbers, there was an average, and his was above average. So he went, well, I guess this is more death.
Yeah.
And that's who I am.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
Well, let's do next time in the Wheel of 8. So we'll be doing 2 chapters next time. We'll be doing chapter 16, 17, which are leaf takings and deceptions. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, those are the next 2 chapters that we'll be covering, and we will have a guest next time as well. So many of you know her, at least on our Discord server. We know her well because she actually designed our logo. Her name is Tree, and she hugs them. Tree Hugger will be our next guest, and we're excited to have her on. So
Amazing.
yeah, so Tree Hugger is going to join us, and then we'll take a break for guest for most of July. But yeah, so that's exciting with the next 2 chapters. So with that being said, anything else from you guys before I kind of sign off?
Yeah. No, you mentioned Tree. Hold on.
Yeah.
So hold on. I have to look it up.
I have to look it up.
That's it. All right,
Fine.
Tree.
I'll wait patiently.
Tree, you get a
More depth was a trickster, right? Just wanna make sure I get that correct.
Mordeth was a trickster. You're right. God, I love drunk people. And he's driving. That's so sweet. Tree, if you can tell me the type of pine that smells like butterscotch, if you can tell me in the next hour, you get a free piece of merchandise off of our website.
Ian will
you know what,
send.
Tree?
Ian will send you his mom's red rod.
No, stop. Jesus. So now, did you just say?
It's not red? It's not red anymore. It's frosted.
So, Alan was quick to say that my mother's smells like butterscotch, but that is not what I said.
Tree answered
that's
with
awesome.
Ponderosa.
Ponderosa pine. You're absolutely right.
Okay, you know what? That
Correct.
was amazing. You got that so fast. Tree, I'm going to match
nailed it.
that. I'm going to give you another item off of our page as well. I'll match that with
Yes!
a merch item.
That's dope.
Two
So,
merch items.
Don't
merch
take this
items
the
for
wrong
that.
way, Tree, but
Nailed
you
that.
just got doubled up on. That's where it got awkward. This is the awkward point. This is
I
where
already
it
owe
got-
Tree one. I owe her one, but I want to
There you
deliver
go.
it to her, and we are still in
Okay.
lockdown.
All
And
right.
I
So
still have to
Tree,
order
yep.
it.
Treat
But,
Alan on me, not on the wheel
Okay, yeah,
reads,
yeah,
but
yeah,
on me.
yeah.
Treat gets a freebie.
Freebie from the merch store.
Fantastic.
Cool. All right.
She was so
cool.
quick.
So quick.
That's-
I mean,
that's
just
impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It was.
I just learned that yesterday.
So DT, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. This was great. Great
I've
guest.
had a blast. Thank
yeah,
you.
a lot of
Thank you.
fun. Thank you so much for coming on. And how can people find you or find your Discord server? What's the best way?
Well, I think almost everybody has some sort of access to Twitter. That's probably the easiest way. At Trivia Watt. Everyone knows Watt, Wheel of Time, right? Trivia Watt. It's a Wheel of
Mhm.
Time trivia server, but someone already had Watt Trivia. So
Yeah.
I'm at
Hey,
Trivia Watt. And
and
that'll,
we'll-
if you go to the pin message, you'll find the Discord server. If you're a
Yeah.
Discord user, it is
Yeah.
primarily a Discord thing. So,
Sure.
which I recommend. If you haven't joined the Wheel Read server, you absolutely should as a listener. It's a great way to engage with these guys. So,
And when I release this episode to the general public, I will also put a link to your Discord server in the description.
oh, perfect. Yeah.
So that way, yeah. So if you're listening to this and you can click down the description, DT's link will be down there. So go join, play some trivia games.
Yeah, there will be one in the next. Like I said, I'm not sure I'll get it out for this week, but for the next week I will. And I'd like to get this a little more regular again later in the year. So it's been a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
I have some summertime coming off too, so it'll be a little slow in the summer, but we'll get some regular games going again.
All right, good deal.
All right, thanks,
And how
guys.
and how we can be found? We can be found at the Wheel Reads on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. The Wheel Reads at gmail.com is our email address. You can email us all sorts of fun things. I will respond as long as it doesn't get a junk mail. And sometimes it does, and I will eventually then respond. It just might be a while because I don't check that often. www.thewheelreads.com is our website where you can find links to all of our stuff, including our podcast episodes, as well as our merch store. So you can come visit our merch store and get merch, or you can listen to us live sometimes if you come on Patreon, and possibly get free merch from Ian because he gives them away sometimes to our Patreons. So
Don't tempt me.
yeah. So that's a good way also to get merch. So those links are both on our website. If you needed help finding those, if you want to just search for them, you just pretty much type in the Wheel Reads in Google. You'll find us everywhere.
Yeah.
I pretty much just cornered that market for the name. Also just feel free to like us, share us, write a review. I do from time to time read those, at least if they're on Apple or Spotify. If you listen on some like really, really obscure podcast platform, I probably don't read your reviews, but
Shoot an email.
yeah, just shoot me an email. Let me know. Just be brutally honest. It's okay. If you hate us, that's fine too. But
That doesn't happen, man. Guaranteed.
yeah. So that's fine.
Nobody
too.
gets to this
just
episode.
block
Yeah,
Walk
no
on
one
our
gets
server.
this far in and hates us. Like I've been listening to you for 1.5 years, and I hate you, but I still listen. Yeah.
All right, so quick challenge before Alan says, "Is there anything else?" DT, you're gonna go first. So you need to have a catchphrase when Alan says, "Is there anything else?" You catchphrase, and then I'll hit my catchphrase, and then Chris does his deep throated catchphrase.
Yeah.
So
So Is there anything
Be
else for you
ready,
guys?
DT.
Because I detoured it.
Anything else? GT froze.
How many
GT's
write-ups do
frozen.
we have?
He's frozen.
Wait, pause.
Hold on. He did freeze. All right. I don't want to know. Okay.
Oh wait, he's coming back. He's coming back. Okay, we'll do
How
this
many
again.
reviews do we have? Wait, how many reviews do we have
On what?
in general? Do you know how many reviews we have?
I mean, it depends on what platform. Apple.
Oh.
Let's see.
What's your favorite platform?
The Apple podcast is our most our Spotify might be, but let's see. Apple Podcast. We have how many reviews do we have? I can look it up right now. We have 38 ratings. I'm not sure how many reviews, but we have 38 ratings.
How we doing? 5 stars?
We are no longer 5 stars. We are 4.9 stars. Someone gives a 4-star.
Oh,
No.
I'm going to date your daughter just so I can make love to her mother later.
I'm gonna rate her 3 stars.
Yeah, we have 38. We have
number
38
the number 5 is my favorite number. So whoever does the 50th review will get something from me.
Yeah, we have
Yes.
38 reviews, so 50 reviews.
50th
Review
review. That's
people.
neat.
Okay, cool.
Right.
I'm one of them, guaranteed.
Tree gets butterscotch candies from DT and I.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
jump
all
on
right.
that.
So,
All right,
wait. You have to explain to TT again because I think you.
All right, DT. So
Yeah.
when he says, "Is there anything else?" you have to do your sign off, and then we'll do ours. So you could make something up. But
You
you're
think I
signing
have
off
something
with
to
us.
make up? I'm too drunk to make too much up. So you better.
You
be
could
quick.
say this
Say
was
that.
great. You could say
I'm
this
drunk.
was great, guys. You could say I like romaine lettuce. You could say
No problem. I got it.
mushrooms.
Ready?
All right.
okay.
Yeah.
Alan,
Anything?
go for it.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Rakori Sotovia Sagam.
Until next time,
Peace.
Nastrovia.
And I'm here, so.
And that's it. Hold on.